This computer. Hi, everybody. This is a poker coaching study session. We're studying cash games, and it's going to be a wild ride because of this first hand here. So we're just playing along here. We have a 6-7-6 suited. We decide not to play it in the low jack. Totally reasonable. You can also play it in the low jack. For me, I'm trying to play this about 12 to 15% of the time in the low jack, and this is not one of them.
So you've had a good session so far.
Yeah.
I played 100%. Is that bad?
Nope, it's not bad. You can make that adjustment. It's a perfectly reasonable thing to open it that way.
What's
not
the thinking
GTO.
behind?
Oh, it's simple. So it has to do with how well the other people are your table are playing. If you're at a table where you get a lot of calls from your raises, playing a 6-7 suited in a pot where you're out of position, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world. If you're playing at a table that's doing a lot of 3-betting, that's not, you don't want to be doing it so much. The range, if you look at this range here.
If they call a lot,
the
they
low
can
jack
also
range.
better fold.
Okay.
I think,
Yeah.
my opinion.
This is the new one now. These ranges have changed over time. Earlier ranges had these hands, the 4-5 suited, 5-6 suited being opened more often. As you can see here, they're in the sort of 10 and 9 and 12%.
Scotty, can you expand that window?
Oh yeah, sure.
It's very smushed and it looks weird.
Okay, let me expand it. There we go. Unsmush it.
There, it's looking more
Right.
normal.
So because this hand can be played 11% of the time, it's a reasonable hand to play. But if you find yourself playing it 100% of the time, you're going to be down in this part of your range more often relative to this part. So you're there with
I might be using the wrong chart.
Yeah. But again, there were older charts.
Share.
Yeah, you want to share? You want to take a look at your chart? Do you have it up?
The chart that I'm using is the one from Jonathan Little's site. It's called Preflop Charts with Jonathan Little.
Do you have it up? And I'll talk to you about it.
And it's assumes 100 big blinds. I'll just pop it in. I took a Gazzo of what I had.
Are you talking about the
share
exploitative
the
charts
Gazzo,
he
if that's
had?
okay?
Yeah, it's a PDF and it's called 100 Big Blinds Exploitative, and it's all red or green, one of the two.
I think they were implementable.
Yeah, implementable.
Yeah, well, it's
and exploitative. Yeah.
So this is a Gazzo of what the range first in shows, and it's like really like I started to use it, and it says like, it's a lot more.
I can't see what you're talking about.
Can't see it.
Click on
I'll
it.
just put it up. I'll put it up. I know that chart. So it's this one.
Yeah, if I want to put it in the Zoom chart.
Poker. I'll just go there. I know the one you mean. Pokercoaching.com.
But still, it's not bad and it's not good. It depends on the table.
Well,
right.
These weren't really meant to be for cash.
It was this one, the 100 big
cash preflop charts.
Downloadable preflop charts. That's right. There it is. Downloadable preflop charts, 100 big blind, 6 max implementable GTO charts.
No, I think he's talking about the 100 big blind.
Oh, this one.
No,
yeah, this
top one. Top one.
That's heads up.
Yeah, these are all.
Yeah, these are wrong.
Scott, the very top one.
Oh,
Very
just this
first one.
Okay, these charts. Oh yeah, I remember these charts. These charts were very fun. These charts do not include
exactly
this one here.
I'm using.
Yes.
Yeah.
This chart does not include the idea of a rake.
Yeah, like I'm playing in a time game.
And they are assuming antes.
Right.
Yeah. So
antes are in tournaments.
Right.
So you're playing in a time game like in Texas or something live, right?
Yeah, I'm playing at Casino Niagara in Niagara Falls.
So
there's
the charts I would look at
per half hour.
The charts I would look at are, and you can get to these for free. So GTO Wizard does have chip EV charts. And that's the place I would start.
Right.
Okay. I'm not playing 6 max though.
Gotcha. So, but just
I
to take
think
a
they have 9-max chip
They
EV
have
charts.
9-max also.
yeah, they do. But just to take a look at this, this is one that doesn't include an ante. And look at how all of
Oh
those.
wow, you're totally not playing the. It's totally different. Like
Yeah.
all the small pairs and suited connectors are not
Yep,
being
exactly.
played. So I'm
And
playing wrong.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that's actually an interesting comment because I'm toying with the idea of deciding that we are all playing wrong. And I've like done, I used to play this all the time, or some of the time, as Scott would say. I'm playing it almost none of the time now. But I am, again,
you mean these suited connectors you're not playing?
not
Yeah,
from a
from
early
the
position.
low jack.
I literally just started the process of looking at the, because of you guys showing me this, the 10% rate cash GTO preflop charts.
Yeah.
And I looked at them and I said, you know, this doesn't take the exploitative opportunity. So there's a lot of adjustments that need to be made, but this isn't one of them. I think that what I'm starting with is I asked myself, what am I trying to go to the flop with? What situation? And here, do I really want to go to the shot flop out of the position with a middling suited connector where even if I hit the premiums that I get, especially if there's a lot of multi-way action, the question is, I could be dominated. And so like everything is against me. Now, by the way, if you play them with this level of frequency, it's probably okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're rolling coins or dice or whatever you're doing, yeah, it's probably okay. But I just don't play them.
Right. So let's take a look here and notice.
I do the
that-
same.
that-
I also don't play them.
Yeah, if you play perfectly, if you are the best player in the world, and actually that's not fair. If you are playing in such a way that you're trying to not be exploited, and you're playing against another player who knows exactly how to play against you, not to be exploited, these are zero EV.
Right.
You know, so playing them or not playing was no big deal. Now, the problem with your strategy, if you don't play them at all, is when your boards hit in this range, you never have them.
That's not the problem.
But I have ace 5 suited and king 5 suited, which I am.
Why is that the problem, Scott?
Okay, it's not a problem. Yas says it's not a problem, and he's smarter than me, so it's not a problem.
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
No, Yas did. And so
I
I'm fine
did
with
say
it.
that.
I'm good with that.
It's zero EV, so it's not a problem.
Yeah,
I-
yeah. It's and you do have the ace 5 suited, so you're there.
But
well,
it's
I
not the
do.
problem that you covered certain boards, that you don't cover certain boards. That's not the problem.
Yeah, because you have these hands
Only
here.
a problem if they notice.
Yeah. That's what I meant, was that if somebody knew your strategy, but if you play them too often, you're gonna be in this region too often.
Yeah, then you see
And-
VPIP, and then they can see that you play too wide.
I
But
play
most.
them too often because most of the people I'm playing with are worse than I am, and a zero EV hand versus a solver is not a zero EV hand versus the monkeys that we're playing with.
Yeah, so Jake,
Right.
do you go?
It depends, huh?
So all of those are reasonable adjustments. Which is why in this particular case, I folded 6-7 suited, and why this person decided to raise the 4-3 suited. Good enough, and it worked.
Yeah, I think there's also something to be said about implied odds with those hands that
Yeah.
do make them what you want to play them to some extent.
Yeah,
And you should know how to play them.
No.
That's kind of how I thought about it initially was, and I think the point of you should make exploitative adjustments to these charts. But some of those mixes are actually going from some to none as opposed to some to many or all.
Right.
And I think this is one of those cases because again, like the monkeys that are calling are going to dominate me enough that the excess payments I get from them spewing aren't worth it. I think they're just better spots.
Yeah.
So
Here's an example of where I think that they are a
What if-
totally profitable play. Oh, go on, Yas. You were saying.
I heard saying playing them because of the implied odds, but that's wrong reasoning. You're not playing them because of the implied odds. You're playing them because they are plus EV in your situation, for instance. That can be true. For instance, they are not 3-betting enough. They are folding too much. Then you play wider. Then you play 6-7, 6 suited. If they are calling more, Yeah, if you have an edge against the calling, you can, but I wouldn't.
Yep. Here's the exploit that I found profitable playing in the Zoom game up to 50 NL. And probably 100 NL. I didn't find it that profitable in the 200 NL, which is in the Zoom game, people fold a lot pre-flop because there's no because they're not bored. Because they get another hand in a second. So if the hand is not interesting, just fold it and get another hand in a second. So
okay.
I would raise these suited connectors 100% of the time because the amount of pre-flop folds you got was enormous. In live games, and certainly in the 9-handed game, I find people get bored easily and play a lot of hands because they're bored. And so you didn't get the immediate folds. So yeah, I would say the more you're getting three bet, the less you want to play them. The more you're getting folds, the more you want to play them. And the more you're going multi-way, it depends on how bad people play multi-way after the flop. You'll see.
Yeah.
But here comes the fun, which is, so a new guy sits down to the table. I don't know how it's this guy, Villain 7. We're going to be watching him. I don't
Does it
know.
make sense to put this in big blinds?
Sure. We'll put it in big blinds. Show chips and BB. There we go. He sits down for 30. And what I don't understand, I think it may be how it recorded, because he may have posted, and that's how he got a hand here, but usually it shows that it posted. So that could be an error in the playback thing, but that's fine. So so he either posted for 1 or something weird happened. This guy here, Villain 1, posted. Okay. So there we go. Now we get a call fest, and let's see if the ace 10 suited is good enough to squeeze. Nope. So they go on, they play the hand. Here's top pair. No big deal. Checks his top pair. And this guy goes all in. All right. Fold, and ace 10 calls him. And he goes broke. No big deal. Like that. Next hand, but now same guy buys in for 100 on the next hand. All in
Insta tilt.
for 100. The ace queen suited, for whatever reason, does not decide this is the time to take a stand with ace queen suited, even though he saw what the guy did with 3s. That's fine. And of course, me, the hero with my 9 jack, fold like the GTO
actually,
that I am.
If you solve this with MDF, I think the ace queen suited is a fold to that large of a shove with so many people left.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think so.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Because with the shared MDF, he probably has to play like 1%.
Yeah. Also, I mean, he's got that, and it's going to change in a second, but he also doesn't know what the guy's range is. He just sees he shoved 3s, after the flop.
Just
Now
as
he
an
was-
aside, GTO allows you to, GTO Wizard, excuse me, this is something that you can solve for, or it is
Oh,
solved for, and ace
good.
queen is a fold.
Is a fold?
What's the
Yeah,
call? Is
from,
it ace-
what's that, under
ace
the
king
gun,
suited?
was that 1 pass low jack?
Yeah, he's low jack -1. He's in the pre. He goes all in.
Now, it
Low
does give a
jack.
caveat that the selected line is rarely used, so may not be accurate, but
Oh yeah.
But hold on a second, guys. So, I mean, you're starting to theorize that this guy's jamming ATC, right? Any 2 cards?
Yeah, I don't think.
No,
I,
you,
No, no, no.
I don't
we're
think
just
you
discussing
can
whether the ace queen should fold. I would have folded the ace.
2 hands. You
yeah, that's
cannot.
versus a
I
GTO
didn't say
Wizard
you
range.
concluded that. I just said that I mean, there are times when people are like doing crazy stuff with 80% of range, it's time to put away GTO Wizard and pull out Equilab or.
But how do you know that after 1 hand?
Oh no, Joey,
don't.
I'm saying after 2. I'm saying that if you start, whatever your read is, right? So I'm not saying make that read that now, but he is starting to exhibit, evidence that he's playing.
We're going to know.
Yeah, but here there are 5 players
patient.
behind you, so still, if you know that he's a moron, you can still maybe fold. I don't know.
Be patient, my friends.
Like, how many times would you, if you were sitting in a game and this guy did that 5 times? I mean, when would
Patient, my
you?
friends. You're jumping ahead of the plot.
What I'm
jumping
saying-
ahead.
Ace Queen has Yeah, against this hand, it's a clear winner, but otherwise it doesn't have that much overnight.
Yeah, the question, I would fold the ace queen here now, but it's gonna get more interesting, so be patient. So that just happens. Next hand, he jams and runs into aces.
Wins.
Now, so now I think the entire table knows his range,
And he's got
That's
two
the
big blinds.
game.
right? So the
Yeah.
whole table knows his range now.
Yeah, no one has a hand that can call.
Jams for 200 big blinds. So
Now
now,
it gets interesting.
so now you
I'd
know
be
his,
tempted with ace queen.
yeah, now you know his range.
Are you really going to enter the pot with ace queen off you?
I'd be tempted, that's for sure.
2, 4, 5. If I was on a big blind, I would over an
Absolutely, I
But from
would
that
jam.
position,
If you know his, see, the problem is we can't just go purely on pot odds because we're losing 10% of, even if we win, we're losing 10% of the stack due to rake.
You have a stack.
No, no, it's not 10%. No, it's not 10%. It's
it's a
limited.
cap probably, yeah?
It's
Or not?
capped.
Well, it's capped too, so it's much less than even 5%. I mean, this is a whole online game, right?
Yeah, this is a Heinlein grain.
Yeah, so it's
4 players
5%.
behind you. Or 5. 5 players behind you. That's a lot.
Yeah. So this is where the adjustments. Okay, yeah, we
But-
got to see that. Okay. That's
But
yep,
if you're of the opinion that he's doing it with ATC, which we're getting close to being able to say that now,
I think we can say it on this hand.
or
I
at
think
least
on
we can
this
say
hand.
he's very wide.
Yeah, once you
Or
see
he
that he
was-
does
he
the
was
queen
on
four,
That- I think once you get a hand that's in the top of your raising range, if it folds to you,
Mhm.
you should be okay calling him off.
right? Okay.
Yeah, and so
now
my
that-
comment,
There are no other players, yes.
I have a comment on that. So I mean, this is where it gets kind of like, you have to kind of get out of the mold that we've been studying, which is not even good players, but reasonable players who are playing some sort of constrained ranges. When you're playing against someone who's playing ATC, Joseph's making a good point, and I'm not so sure I know the answer, but before you start taking into consideration the players behind you, your calling range all in is significantly wider than it feels like it should be.
Right.
And I'm not so sure that you have to tighten up that much for the players behind, because they're facing 2 all-ins. So one guy is crazy, but the second guy has stated that he's got a hand. If you're behind, like, what are you calling with?
Ace
Right.
king.
And it's pretty unlikely. There's not a lot of hands that are better than ace queen. I mean, when you look at the entire
Kings,
population.
aces, ace king, queens.
Right.
I might-
But go back a
after
step.
Well, that's just a
After
cooler then. I mean, if you get like, so what's your range, Jose? I mean, if you're
Oh,
responsible,
After ace king
Okay,
calls or
you-
ace queen calls, the only 2 hands that should call after that are aces and kings.
Well, it's
Ace-
king queen calls
Yeah, you
here,
shouldn't
so
be the third person in the pot. You should not be the third person in the pot here.
If I have
The
ace
second
king on
person
the
is-
big
right.
blind, I might call.
I
Well, yeah.
think king queen is too weak
King, queen is too weak, yeah.
to
Right.
call with that many players left to act.
No, because you'd be opening a king queen if if it was just like
No,
Yeah,
no, I
but
said
Folded
the
to you.
you're not
top of
going
your
all in
opening-
with
Right.
king, queen
You need,
on the
you
big
need the
blind.
top of your opening range.
no, like
Yes.
let's say villain 7 has any 2 cards, right?
Yeah.
Then what he does has nothing to do with what hands he's holding, right?
Yeah.
Your only question is it plus EV to shove it in here? And I would argue,
No.
and
No.
I would
No,
argue that it is
you're not
plus EV.
you're not considering the chances that your king queen is behind somebody else's hand.
Sure.
There's still
someone
7
else's hand
players
who
left
can
to
call.
act.
I'm not saying whether it's
Next
behind. I'm
player.
saying it's plus EV.
No, I don't think so.
That's like that's the question that we're answering here. Is it plus EV for king queen
No.
to call here? I would say yes.
Okay, assume
I would
let's,
say no.
it all
So,
has to do with,
question. I'm sorry, finish your thought, and then I have a thought.
Because
Okay.
like
Depends
I
on the
would
other
open
players.
king queen in the hijack.
right?
If there was no
But
bet.
not for 100 big blinds, do you?
For 100 big blinds. It's
No,
not
not
just
for 100
opening
big
it for 2.5.
blinds.
See,
But
when you
remember,
open it,
you're
you're
getting
risking 2.5.
things.
You're getting odds, right?
No.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
So the situation that the king queen is in is let's assume, just for the sake of argument, that we know villain 7 is jamming 200 big blinds with any 2 cards, just to start the argument, the conversation.
I think,
Okay.
I just very quickly, I think everyone at the table has decided that by now. They've all made
Okay,
it.
so let's assume that everybody has decided that.
Right. Go
So
on.
the question you have to ask yourself, which is an equal question, it's a, pull out an equity calculator. In the ranges that you're going to put is basically everybody's got any 2 cards. And you only can lose your stack. So once you decide to go in, you're all in. And so the question really is, is it plus EV to jam against a range of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, 1 in front and 5 behind, or whatever it is, ATC. You just do the math. And I mean, and I think you will find that it's much wider. It's not massively wide, but it is definitely wider than king queen offsuit
I don't
or
think
ace queen
that's-
offsuit. So if the king queen folded, now if this guy called, the ace queen might fold. Like, I didn't realize that he jammed. So, but that would be the next question, is you would say, what's a reasonable range for someone to jam, knowing that they're up against all these players? Put that range into the king queen, the villain 1 thing, and rerun the math and see if ace queen works. I don't know if it will work, but I do believe that king queen works all the time in this situation, just intuitively.
Yeah,
I agree, because you have like the advantage of shoving it in first.
But
Okay.
I think the biggest takeaway is this is not a GTO wizard question. It's an
No.
equal app.
Yeah, so let's see. I
Yeah.
think I can run this real quick and equal
Yeah,
out,
right.
and
Equal
then
out.
we'll move on. So he's got 1, 2, 3. So he's in the pre.
Well,
So we've got a total of 8 players.
Counts as an equal up, I think.
okay. Can I lay out some argument before we get into it?
Yes.
We know that this fish is jamming pretty wide, and that people are looking to call him off.
Yes.
In reality, you shouldn't be calling with anything but aces and kings after a second person is in the pot.
Yes.
But we are working with people who don't know that.
I disagree.
Okay.
I don't think people would play like that. At least
That's
people
first
Oh, no,
round.
no,
don't need
he isn't saying they're playing like that. Joey is saying that that is the correct way to play, but if people don't know that, then then that changes your abilities. So this is a quick Equilabs type of calculation. We just know he has any 2 cards, and now what do we do? What's our equity against this many other random hands? We've got
everyone else has
20%.
any 2 cards at this point when you're making the decision to shove it in.
Right. He's got any 2, and so does every other, and so do these people. These people all have any 2. And that gives us, I don't think it's
I
enough.
think you'd have to give
It doesn't say anything.
Now,
the
see,
caller a
Scotty,
reasonable
this
range.
is not enough people, because in reality, there's 7 players left, so your equity is going to be even a bit lower.
Oh, didn't I get that all in? Didn't I get the 7 people?
But it doesn't say anything.
1,
Guys.
it's what, 1,
Can't
2,
do this with equal up.
6. Oh, 1,
So
2,
what the way to
Oh, there's only
really
6
do
players left.
it, the
Use
way to
HRC
really
or
do it
something like that.
is
Yeah, you can use HRC if you have.
Yeah, HRC would be the way to do this. I can do that in a bit.
Just all for
well, no,
rating,
if you're
etc.
going to do it without the application, determine what you think they're going to call off with. Let's say they call off with ace, queen, and 9s. There are 5 players left, so take 95% to the 5th root, and that's how often you're likely to get called by ace, queen, 9s or better. And then you have to run your odds all the times your heads up versus this guy, you're probably 60%, and then how often you get called, and then what your percentage is against the 2 ranges.
3, 4,
No.
What are you calculating, Scotty?
This is the odds that somebody's gonna show up with in the 5 hands behind us.
And now
One,
one,
two, three,
one
four,
minus that, one
Yeah.
minus, so like 22.7%.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna show up with ace, queen, or nines or better.
Yeah, so dominating you.
Think of it
So-
differently. I think of
At
it
least
totally
some of the
differently.
time.
I think of it-
22% of the time, you're gonna get called off by somebody who's got you
you're not gonna be happy against.
pretty bad
but-
shape.
Eh,
No, I think of
Yeah,
it
it's
totally
basically
differently.
Against mine, it's okay, yeah.
22% of the time You're up against ATC, and 22% of the time you're in a bad spot. And that's a pretty good situation.
I think that you're playing
For
a game
100 big
with
Also only
blinds?
200.
34%. It's not that you're 100% odds or something like that.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying your king queen is way ahead against the ATC range and way behind the calling ranges when they call. So you
Yeah.
you do 88% of the time I'm way ahead, and 22% of the time I've got equity, but I'm a dog.
But-
and you do it, and you're
But-
gonna
He also
find
has equity, yeah.
Here's the problem,
Joey-
what do you consider way ahead?
No, Joey, like
You're
consider
most likely 60-40.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
that's
when
a- well, first of all, on king queen,
king queen against jack 3 is 60-40-ish. Yeah.
what's king queen against ATC two up heads up? Just
Okay.
run it there.
That's
if you
easy.
wouldn't mind.
I think of it like you're playing a game
let's
with
just
a
get the
200
answer to
big
this.
40.
blind.
60-40.
That's a great, I mean,
Fine.
60-40, I mean, Vegas was built on tighter odds than that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take 60
That's not
40
the
all
full
day.
story.
Yeah, if there are 2, 4,
Yeah,
6
but you're-
behind you.
Like,
Alright,
okay,
I'm-
let's say you're playing a game with
I'm
a
just out.
blind
I'm
is
out. I'm done.
$196.
Let's stop this discussion. Someone should run HRC and give us the answer.
Derek,
Yeah, I'm working on it now.
Derek, finish your
Keep going nowhere.
thought experiment, and then we'll move on.
So, like, imagine you're playing a game where the blind is like $196,
Mhm.
and you got $91. I'd shove it in with king queen.
That's different.
Like, imagine if there was a third blind that was 196 big blinds. You have king queen in the hijack. You shove it in.
Yeah, and Derek, this happens all the time in live because there's a promotion called Splash Bots, right? Where people, they drop in $100, they drop in $200, and your ranges should go way wider.
I used to
Yeah,
have
the range
roulette
should go
players
way
sit down
wide.
with $5,000 on a 5-10 table.
I want to go
Right?
play where you play.
Right. Okay, so let's move.
Because they put the poker table right beside the roulette table, right?
But this is quite different. In that situation, there's 100 in the middle, and if everyone folds, you have it.
Right.
Right. Like you're playing
this
a game
one- yeah,
with
this
a
one you
third
have to be-
blind
yeah.
Folds, you have
of 196.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the two.
That's what you're playing. You're playing like a 3-blind game where the third blind is 196.
Yeah, it's the Splash Pot.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, you call, you shove it all in with you still have 91 easy
Yeah,
all day, every day with king queen.
So let's move on.
Let's calculate it.
We yeah. If somebody wants to do the calculation, we'll come back to it. I think everybody's made their point, and
I'm,
we haven't
I'm
convinced.
doing it.
I'm doing it now. I'll have it ready in a bit.
Thank you.
That's great.
You were going
I'm
to say something,
doing it
Joey,
on
before we move on.
paper Now,
What did you say, Joey?
I'm doing it on paper now.
Great. Okay, I'll let you guys work that out. Let's go forward. So this guy does take the king queen. I wouldn't call king queen this early yet, but that's fine. Interestingly, the ace queen goes with him.
So I'm not sure that's right, but I'm less confident that it's right.
I would feel very, because I would look at this guy and think that this guy, although we're both seeing the same thing with this, that his willingness to risk 100 big blinds, I don't love
Once
that.
we get called, once we get called by ace, queen, and nines or better, we have 25% equity.
Okay. So
So
Yeah,
just
it's up to
20% of the time,
300, so
20%.
it's,
25% equity, it's a fold, but
Yeah.
we are getting 3-1 at this point. So it's not like as gross as it sounds. It's gross, but it's not as gross as it sounds.
it's true.
Now- However, you guys are ignoring the fact that the flop could be fun. Something like, how about that?
That doesn't hurt the game at all.
Right. Now, notice, by the way,
Yeah,
notice what
yes,
the
equity. Yes,
notice what the equities are, by the way, before the flop comes. 50, 24, and 26. So the king queen is miserable. He's put in a third for 24% equity. The ace queen is happy, but it's only he's put in half. He's only has half the chance, but he's only put in a third to get it. So this is nice, and this is the danger of your king queen.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that you ran into, a dominated, is that you can't draw any conclusion from that.
No,
You have to
the
look.
conclusion I think you can
told
draw
you
from
that-
this is this: if
We
someone
just told
calls,
you that can happen 23% of the time.
Skip this hand and go to HRC.
go to the next one. We're gonna we're gonna go on. I'm just saying that when after the king queen calls, when he gets called, it's almost always going to be the dominating hand because the third player in we were saying nines plus. I would fold nines there, but I'm thinking it's I would play
So
jack
I would
plus
be
an ace king.
interested.
Yeah,
I would be
means
interested
plus.
in going jack, pocket jacks and pocket tens in that situation.
But now we know he's playing this way.
And also depends where I sit. If I sit in the big blind, I'm calling maybe nines. But
So
By the way, this happens all the time.
Right.
I've never seen it happen.
Yeah.
So how many hands have we had with the maniac? 5, and he's got
four. He's
stacks.
he's gone all in on every hand. He didn't go all in pre-flop on his threes. He waited for the flop.
so if I see a guy with 400 big blinds, then I know that he's going all in anyway.
Right. Okay.
So ace 5's adjustment is important, right? Why put 2 big blinds in when you're gonna get jammed on 80% of the time?
And you can expect that if he's doing this, he's also not folding to 2 big blinds.
Yeah, but there
Hey,
is.
Jake has ace RC result ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Let me stop sharing.
Yeah, there is an exploitative adjustment there, which is when guys do.
Right.
Sorry, I'll need to rejoin from my laptop to
Okay,
share
that's
HRC.
fine.
Just give me a moment.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll give you a moment. Okay, we'll go back here. There we go. All right. Nice normal check bet fold. There we go. Next hand.
Is this the same villain stuff?
Yep.
So he didn't go all in.
He didn't go on. He just check folded there. So,
Yeah, but so
but he still got to see the flop. So we'll see how he plays.
he's not going any two anymore.
Yep. Ace 3 suited has decided not to play it, and then everything. 8-4 suited decides that this is the guy this is the guy he wants to be in a hand with 8-4 suited. That seems like a very bad adjustment.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about villain 10's fold here?
I think he absolutely should throw in a chip.
Yeah, I think this is.
Yeah, if everyone calls, then you have.
Well, hold on a second. So if you're villain 20, you're sitting on pocket 4s, pocket 3s, pocket 2s. King 5 is gonna jam with 80% of his hands.
No, you haven't seen it. You've only seen him open jam. Then you saw him do the fold. You don't know, and you waste one big blind.
Saw him checking back, and now he's only making 5 big blinds, so he's not jamming it.
Yeah. So I risked the one big blind.
So what do you do when jam down with your pocket 4s?
Fold, instant fold. I'm 50-50 at best. I mean, yeah, maybe he has Jack 3, but maybe he has Jack 6. And
or sixes.
or 6s. No, I just fold.
All right.
I fold for one big blind.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that one big blind. I don't want to start losing 3 big blinds. I don't want to, I don't want to call a raise with 5s and then get jammed on and have to fold it all this time. So yeah, but one big blind,
I would go
Well,
with one
okay.
big blind because
Right.
I assume that he plays like shit post flop, right?
He's not going to play post flop, I think.
Well, once we get to see the flop.
Yeah, I think let's go on. All right. So now he's just raising big. Now he's not jamming on your hand, so he's changed his strategy.
Okay.
This guy's decided to call much wider than GTO for a hand, for a raise that is bigger than GTO.
Yeah.
Either because he doesn't know King 3 is a fold, or because he really wants to play against this guy.
What are you guys doing with King 3 here? I almost feel like it's a call because if you hit a king,
Yeah. Jake is ready
he
to
shoves, you
Okay.
can call up.
All right, we're gonna be with you in a second, Jake. Let me
King 3 call off.
Yeah, you can finish the hand or whatever. It's up to you.
You're muted, Scotty.
I can't hear you.
Scotty, you're muted. Or maybe he has something on the tongue. I don't know.
No, I was muted. I should be unmuted now.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, here we go. I promised on YouTube, somebody made the comment that we should to follow to keep the chat open. So I'm going to, and Larry, that's very funny. I can't tell if there's more chaos on this table in the conversation we're having about this table. All right. So the king 3, I would fold king 3 here. Let's see how he plays after the flop. Half pot,
You have to call now.
check, check,
Oh.
check, all in. Not all in, big, check ridiculously big.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's my fault. He's
Okay.
making use of his image.
So let's take a look at what
This pair
HRC
doesn't get a
says.
call.
All right, Josh,
Ringy dingy.
ringy dingy. Josh, you ready to share your screen?
I think that was Jake.
Oh,
Jake.
Jake, you ready to share your screen? Jake was eaten by bears. All right, we'll come back
Yeah,
to
yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
Okay, we're
I'm
ready.
just trying to get it to actually share here. I
Okay.
was muted, so let's see if it works.
I was freaking out. I thought I had to learn how to use HRC.
Okay, you guys can see, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I did was I gave under the gun any 2, and I'm actually amazed at how wide HRC thinks the ranges are. I ran this down to 1.
Yeah.
And I'm actually very surprised. So even EP1 is calling quite wide.
Oh, that's also surprising to me. Indeed.
Yeah, and I think I ran this right. I didn't do it
How
enumerated.
many players can call? Can you click on one?
Yeah,
of
but-
those?
I think everyone can call.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
It
Is
looks
there a
like I
way to
maybe
put it-
capped it out at 3.
Is there a way to
that-
put
that
it
can be a
in,
problem, not only a small problem.
is there a way to put it in the setting where it shows how many big blinds you're winning? In other words, the value of the call?
Yeah, sorry.
Thanks. Okay, cool. That's perfect.
I think this shows 88 big blinds.
Right. So it's not worth calling ace 8
Is
off.
this did you run it with rake or is this chippy V?
This is with rake,
Okay.
10%.
Great.
Yeah.
Or sorry,
10%.
not 10%, 5% with the 4 big blind cap.
Okay.
So I was just amazed because even
Me too.
after one caller, like you're still calling 11% of range.
This is a lot wider than we thought.
Holy jeez.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
lot.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I don't know if this looks right.
No, it
Well,
doesn't look
I think
right.
that I think it's
It
the
looks
same as
too
if you're playing a
wide.
game with like a third
Yeah,
blind.
I mean,
that's-
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
This
you
match.
know,
One way to understand how these range interoperate is to call off with one of these hands and then see what the call off range is after.
Yeah.
So let's say like, for instance, here in middle position or whatever, we call,
Hmm.
What does the next
and
guy have?
then what
Yeah.
then becomes the buttons calling.
I mean, I'm
think-
Go down
definitely
that
thinking they're
tree.
that wide after somebody calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that this is the button against under the gun and MP2 all in.
So can you do it multi-way so that if button calls, then we go down that, that tree? Yeah,
Basically,
okay, so
just
now
that
what's
line.
the small blinds cut off, or the small blinds calling range?
Wide.
There's still
well,
there's some strange going on there.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, but this is just
this-
what is strange here?
Well, it's much wider than we thought.
It's surprising.
This is
Yeah.
the second
Yeah,
caller.
if I
This
see
is
the
the,
first hand calling, then I know. Yeah, okay, then everyone calls wider. That's
Yeah, this is the third caller in.
I mean, you're talking about pairs and suited aces, right?
It looks like maybe I didn't quite solve it down to 1 like I thought.
Okay.
So it's getting a little bit tighter now.
Okay. Well, let it run. Let's let it run for another 10
Yeah.
minutes. We'll come back to it. But kudos
Yeah,
to
I mean,
those.
I think that, Scotty, if I could comment, that I think that we have to think about is the fact that, you start with a range that is so much wider than we're used to talking about. And
Mhm.
as a result, if the next guy's playing well, in responding to that, his range is much wider than we're talking about because it's kind of a splash pot at this point.
Mhm.
And so you're chasing, dead money. And so even if you're the third guy, you're still not going to resolve to aces and kings. And
Yeah.
it does resolve to big pairs or decent pairs and strong aces or suited aces, well, strong aces. So, I mean, this kind of makes sense.
So it's starting to tighten up quite a bit now.
Okay, so here, we'll come back to that. Let's let this guy run.
And
That was
even
cool.
even it running down to 1 is still kind of
Yep, let's
because like GTO Wizard runs it down to like 0.2, 0.02, I think.
Yeah, I'll run it pretty
Yeah,
low.
we'll keep
'Cause
running
it's running pretty quick.
Okay. So let's see what he does with king 6 now. 6-5 has not seen that he may be throwing this away. Okay. Folds to a raise. Now we're playing poker. 6-5 should be a call here. I think. Oh, there was a call in
Agreed.
between. I didn't see the second call.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
flat of
there's
three
even
bet.
more region to call though.
We've got too many X.
It's too many. It's more reason to call, but it's also more reason to fold
We
because
hit the
Four
total
X.
jackpot here.
yeah, you get the thing going on here of wow, I'm getting better pot odds, much better pot odds, and I've got two people to call me when I hit my flush. But your odds of being flush over flush are higher. So those are the two things that compete against each other, and we will not see this in GTO Wizard because GTO Wizard won't small blind a calling range. GTO Wizard here, he has to raise or fold.
Someone's on tilt.
All right.
Someone's on raging tilt.
You mean this 4-6 here?
Four also.
No, yeah, the villain 1 is definitely.
Villain
on
1 has
raging.
lost his mind too. So two people have lost their minds. Villain 1 was the guy with the king 3, by the way. In the last
Yeah.
hand. So two people are tilting.
Like I said, it doesn't hurt the game.
Yep. Let's see, I hope that I end this with 600 big blinds. I know I remember the game. I don't.
He calls here. Interesting.
Yep. Check, and now the 10s have to check behind.
Just saying 6-5 should have called. Just saying it.
There you go. Yep. Oh, he
Now
doesn't just
6-5
right.
is gonna go on raging tilt.
Right, 6-5 did, and then that's him. He's gonna go back on to tilt. Oh no, it's this guy. Yeah, but it's only 6-5 of spades. It's not like he picked up a straight flush draw. There we go.
Yeah.
And he takes it.
All right, hero.
Oh, I
How's
already
your
know what's
time in the
happening
sun?
here.
All right. Am I
Big-
going? The question is,
Insect poker with the maniac.
do we play an exploitative game and limp to try to get him in? No.
Why on earth are you doing this?
Why am I raising?
Yeah.
Because I'm playing poker, and if he goes crazy, that's fine. But there's this many other people to play poker with at the table.
Last four hands he didn't get crazy.
I know. He probably won't.
Hey, so is this the same villain 7 that was in the other game?
7.
Yeah, I limped
All
there.
right.
Nice.
Game
I-
on.
Going crazy.
I think I limped there because if you think he's going to raise a lot, you can limp a lot.
Right. But we saw him do, but so far what we saw him do was we saw him do open jams.
Yeah.
Then he calmed down and made big opening raises. But we saw he has folded to other people's raises. So we didn't know this, but we're very happy now.
I don't think I would limp this early. I mean, you're just inviting other people into the pot if he chooses to overlimp.
Right.
I don't know if that's your best strat.
Yeah. So I mean, it really just comes down to a read on villain 7. So I mean, there's no answer to this question.
And villain
Yeah.
1.
I have to raise now.
We've got both of these people at the table.
Yeah. I mean,
Make
when
it
you
68.
the exploitative adjustment generically against a wide aggressive spaz is to limp into them.
Mhm.
With it.
If
That's
you,
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
we would like to see one other thing though. We would like to have seen him spazzing at limps and not using limps as an opportunity to see the flop for limp.
That's correct.
And we haven't
That's a-
seen it yet. This is also the first semi-spaz we've seen from a raise. You know, so we're getting
16?
a picture of him. We don't have it yet.
Yeah,
we
I would do
saw
this.
Yeah.
9 twice.
That's a bit big.
I think I played this hand badly, by the way.
Is this not too big?
No.
Do you think you
Oh,
played it
God.
badly
Not yet.
free?
I don't think it played it bad yet. I'll show you when I
There's
put that.
300 big blinds deep against this guy.
Yeah, I think your 4-bet size is entirely appropriate for the size.
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
you really don't want to take this multi-way.
No, I don't need to, and I don't need to take a small one. We know that.
I mean, this,
But-
we're off the charts. There should be no flatting behind this 3-bet.
Yeah,
But we know this guy wants to gamble. Why not just shove it in his face?
Because we don't know how he responds to that.
Hmm.
didn't call
Don't
any.
know that he wants to call off 3 deuce. But we do know, we have a reason to believe that he'll call a big bet.
Yeah.
Are you guys suggesting a smaller raise or a flat here?
Yeah, never flat here.
Oh my God.
If villain 1 did not call, I might contemplate a flat. Because we have seen villain 7 shove the flop before.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Same.
It's a 3.
If you paid
See?
attention, you also have seen villain 1 calling too much.
No, I like the raise.
No, you have to. I think you have to raise.
So
now.
I'm happy with a 96 big blind pot at this point.
97.65 bot, overpair, and too many X
Yeah.
with
Bet
any 2 cards.
Yeah.
This is a weird
You
one.
check.
bet big.
Check.
Well, I don't think you check because of stack depth, right? Your stack depth with our primary, I mean, it's almost like 8-6 doesn't matter anymore. I mean,
50,
guy on the button doesn't matter anymore because his SPR is 0.5 on flop.
700.
Very
we
draw
had
heavy,
70.
so I would bet big.
So
We've bet
Mm.
about
it's not
70,
even
we
like
get
you've
it
been
all
playing
in.
with him. It doesn't really matter what he does.
Bet about 70.
I want to bet an amount here that villain 7 believes he can get a fold with. Or I
I
want,
wanna
Okay. So bet 70.
Yeah, I
and let him
want to
check.
check and let villain 7 blast it off here.
yeah,
It-
I
it-
agree.
The SPR is so low, you can get away with checking.
Right.
Yeah.
Give villain 7 a chance to spaz.
Yeah, and that was my mistake. That was the mistake in the hand. I remember, And
Yeah,
I
I think-
once
I
I
think
made
he-
it,
I
I
think-
realized it. I said, why am I not giving him a chance to spaz? And I thought,
Yeah.
well, this is small enough that,
Don't know if he does. Huh?
because remember the spaz he did with the threes was just a jam spaz. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, this was a mistake.
I was
did
surprised
see
he
both
folded his
and,
pair.
Spazzing. I didn't see him.
Hey, can villain 1, let's say villain 7 calls here.
Mhm.
If villain 1 jams, are we allowed to re-raise? Does he
No.
have enough chips
No.
that we're allowed to re-raise?
Nope,
Have to
I
bet
made
that.
it
What is that? Is it half of his?
half
What
of
is
his
that?
stack. I should have bet, I absolutely should have bet 22.
Like, yeah, 22? Okay.
This was a mistake. I should have let villain 1 7 spaz with his bottom pair. There's a chance he would have. I should have let him do it. And I should have bet smaller so that if villain 7 spaz. Yeah, this was a bad play. And as I made it, I knew it was bad.
So you like a smaller bet, but you still like a bet.
If
I
I'm
think
gonna
that's I think it's result oriented thinking, but that's my. I mean,
no, here's what isn't result oriented thinking, Yas. And this is without seeing his 3 here.
yeah. But did you see him spaz post flop?
I saw him spaz with the 3s post flop in his first hand. When he had 30 big.
We
blinds.
never did see the hand though, didn't they all fold?
No, that was not post flop. Oh yeah, it was post flop.
Yeah, it's post flop. He
One
called, he did see it because he got called by the ace queen and he went broke for 15 big blinds. Then for 30 big blinds, and then he came in for 100 and did his jam.
That was not even the big spaz need if it's 30 big blinds.
Yeah. So we don't know. We don't know if he's gonna try to protect this 361 or not. But here's what I think I did wrong, Yas, 100%. This
Yeah,
30,
that's smaller or bigger.
this 30 is the non-union equivalent of 22, and 22 allows 8-6 to jam.
And then you get it all in.
Yeah,
Or
and if
whatever.
8-6 jams, then I have the choice of taking his dead 22 and jamming over it and protecting myself if I want to, or not. But I didn't
Or
give myself that
raise big.
choice. The 30 was a mistake because I didn't think about the 45, how he could react.
I think betting is a mistake.
That's also a possible mistake. I
I
didn't give
would-
him a chance to
I
spaz.
would
I don't
check.
know.
You know,
I would check and give villain 7 a chance to spaz.
Yep.
you know, it's interesting because
I find the flop very connected, so I would bet. But that's just
I find it kind of interesting because
you have two players behind it.
I really don't. I don't know how to play this. I mean, out of position, 300 big blinds deep. I don't know if I want to build a pot or not. I think I do, but honestly, I do not know how to play this.
Well-
It's too late about building a pot. The pot's already built.
Yeah,
Well,
we
you
have
still
an-
have SPR,
there's
right? I mean, we have an
250
SPR
blinds.
almost
I'm-
free.
I'm
Yeah, we're not folding pocket kings.
No,
if
if
you
you raise, I
have
call.
361 blinds, you're probably going to call because of who he is, right?
Yeah, but the queen can jam and hearts can jam and then Jack 10 can jam. I mean, there's so many draws.
Well, no, I think you're. I mean, this is again. Yeah, it's just a tricky spot. I mean, I don't think it's just easy, but I hear you. Against this guy, you're just going to lose if he gets lucky. That's really.
Yeah,
If,
true.
here's what I have determined. Before the hand, during the hand, I was very confident with this, which is, yes, we're playing 300 big blinds deep, but we are playing at an SPR of 2.5, and that's how I'm playing the pot. I am never folding these kings.
Yeah, it's not about the 300 big blinds. It's 2.5
It's
SPR.
2.5
And
SPR
also,
and this guy.
I probably need pretty loose hands.
Yeah.
It's not.
And- so if we check here and it checks through, we can easily still get 2E on the turn and get all in by the river.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just two bets.
And also, if this pot wasn't this bloated and we look at a multi-way solver, this is a check range spot being 2 players out of position.
Yeah,
That's in theory. Do we
Yeah.
change?
I
If
don't
change
care
it for an
about.
exploit-
Oh,
GTO.
hold on, yes. Let Josh finish.
All right.
Go on. No, I didn't say.
Oh,
No,
let
he
you.
meant Joey. Go ahead, Joey.
I meant Joey. Let Joey.
Oh.
Yas come in after Joey. That's all I meant.
So yeah, so in theory, this would be a check range spot. Do we want to exchange for an exploit? And my answer is no, because I believe it's more of an exploit to let villain 7 spaz out.
Mhm.
When you bet and he's reacting to your bet, that probably condenses his range. We don't know that, but we have to logically think that happens. If we're showing interest, he's not going to just spaz off with 2 cards because he feels like it.
Right. That was, and just so you know, that was my analysis as my hand pushed the 30
May I
big.
say something now?
Now you're up,
Yeah.
yes. Sorry. Sorry, Yas.
Okay. I think we can throw GTO out of the window because of the wide ranges probably here and not GTO ranges. So I would play pure exploitatively here. And yes, you could say he passes too much, but I didn't see him much passing post flop from him. So, and I think the flop is pretty wet, so I would bet.
Okay. Those are.
I don't mind a check to induce a spaz, but I would bet on this flop.
Yep. Those
How much would you bet?
Probably big.
Big
60 or
meaning
something like that. 60.
60.
Okay. So we certainly have a range of answers, and when we get the 3-way solver, it's going to give us the wrong answer because these guys won't have these ranges.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For it.
we are deep into the
Yes.
Wild West here.
But I will say before we move on that as my hand bet 30, even before he folded, I said to myself, why are you doing that? I knew that I was betting small, but I thought I didn't give him a chance to spaz, and I should have. So,
I bet small is also an option indeed.
all right.
Hey, Scotty, for clarity on that, just so would you have bet smaller or not bet at all?
I would have checked.
Okay.
I would have checked or bet 22. And that's, and if I had taken the time to think clearly, had I bet, I would have said, I want to bet small enough to give him spaz room. And then I would have thought, oh, wait a minute, look at the 45. Let's make sure that I can.
Okay, then I have a poker rule question for you. Even if you bet $30 here or 30 big blinds, he can still jam for 45.
He can jam, but I can't re-raise him.
Yes, fair enough. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay,
Right.
Yeah.
The re-raise threshold in limit poker is he has to be able to raise again half the size of the bet for you to do a re-raise. In no limit, he's got to be able to make a full size raise. So if
that's
yeah,
correct.
so
I just for a second there, I thought somebody said he won't be able to jam, and I was
yeah, he'll be able to jam, but then I can only call. That's not fun. Right. Okay. So
one thing I just want to say as well, something that I've heard in other videos is that people sometimes on the flop who are what we might call fish or and this is maybe more wide, but I see this as like a 50 cent, so quite a big buy-in for online. Really, is they just see maybe the dollar amount of the bet, and so that could also, this guy bought in for only 30 big blinds, so he says, oh, this guy's betting how much I bought in for earlier. I'm just going to fold because I don't have a good hand.
Yeah.
Rather than considering his pot odds that he might have actually had pot odds to call there to that size
with his one, yeah, I mean you
with his one pair, yeah.
there to a 1/3 pot bet, although maybe not bottom pair.
Multi-play, otherwise
Multi-play,
not.
exactly. But the other
Yeah,
guy,
I mean, that's a good
we're
point.
assuming he's not a thinking player, right? So, but let's move on.
Yeah, he's not thinking about pot odds. He's not thinking about SPR.
right? He doesn't know those words probably.
Right. That's why I'm saying the absolute value of the bet is maybe important.
Yeah. With poker, with low stakes live poker, that is just absolutely true. That it's it's a $10 bet. It's a $20 raise. It's not a 2 big blind raise. It's a 20.
Yeah, I always play in big blinds, so I don't know. But,
Yeah, that's what that is an adjustment. All right. So Villain 7 is not the only interesting player at the table.
yeah,
With
there were
fold.
crazy things indeed.
Yep.
I would have raised bigger.
King deuce.
Yeah, because you're really wanting a fold here. I would raise to 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't fold.
Out of position.
The correct. Yeah, I mean, I went 3.5, which is yeah. This is just a mistake. That's just a mistake.
He doesn't fold, so
No, it was a mistake.
But I mean, yeah, but you still want to get in, even with your king, you still want to get more money in the pot, I think, against this player.
Yeah, no, you're right. This was not the size. I mean, in my own theory, the size should have been 3.5 + 1. It should have been 4.5, just in my own world, and I didn't make 4.5.
I think I checked this behind.
me too.
Yeah, that'd be a fine way to do it. That would have been a fine choice. I'd seen him limp fold before.
King 10 or something like that, I would raise.
Yeah. Yep. And then I think I'm going to follow this up.
Please
With
check.
not going to work.
Oh,
Yeah.
check.
And
Oh,
that-
check.
And now I'm just done. I'm
Oh
just
no,
done.
that was
Yeah.
too large.
Yeah.
As an exploit, if you're doing this as an exploit,
Mhm.
you only have to go like 2.5 to 3
Okay.
because
I'm just
Okay.
betting
The
for him to
idea
miss the
is that-
flop.
yeah, the idea is he's going to fold everything that completely whiffs.
Right.
So my argument here against betting would be ace high board. Villains who are limping tend to limp call ace high or like a single ace a lot. So I think the ace is really bad for us here.
I
And
disagree.
this is purely just exploitative.
We need a revisit of the limping ranges of Yos.
Yeah.
All right, but let's bring that. I'll bring that file up while you guys talk.
The limping range is a black
Sure.
card or a red card
Mm,
for this
we
guy.
found that not to be true. We did some
Oh, yeah?
did some mass data analysis.
And-
On
and
Oh,
this.
really? I'd be very fascinated.
I'm going to show it to you in a second.
Yeah.
Limping range. Where
A
is it?
lot of what I'm seeing, at least in my 10-cent, 25-cent game, is yeah, a lot of ace off limp
Yeah, but
calls.
that's because they go further with those kind of hands.
Here we go. This is
Hmm.
So
Fair
fold-
enough. I can't
Ups and
see
downwards.
what they're actually calling.
okay. These are the actual limping ranges that the people on Ignition got in about 30,000 hands playing against me. He is
Mhm.
cutoff. So in the cutoff, this was their limping range, and it
Yeah, but
includes
see, that's a lot of
a
ace
lot of
X.
aces. Yeah, feel
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a lot of
Yeah,
ace
but
X.
also a lot of other hands.
there's a lot of other hands.
Yes, but I think like you have king high, you have showdown already. Like I showdown with no pair, I just check.
Yeah, but
This
if
guy
you
probably
get
doesn't bet a 7, and if he does, you just fold.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that this
King
hand was
10,
badly
king jack.
played by me. And here was my thought process here, which I don't like. Was I had already decided how I was playing the hand, which I was gonna make one bet and be done. And so I wanted to make that bet be of a size that he didn't, that he was disincentivized to mess around because I was gonna do one and done, and if he calls it, he's gonna win the hand. Because if he's got nothing, if he bluffs, he's gonna get it. And if we showdown, if he's got any showdown value, he's gonna win it. So
But
I
I
said,
think in
I will,
reality, I'm sorry,
no, the rest of my sentence was gonna be, but I think what Joey said was better.
I also think in reality, our value range is not gonna wanna bet that large.
It's
Yeah.
a dry board, so I would bet small.
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to play this hand exploitatively against myself. And I succeeded.
You succeeded.
There we go,
See what it does?
right? Villain
bet
7 has calmed down.
Okay.
But Villain 7 has calmed down now and clearly doesn't want to lose 300 big blinds.
Now you buy the
Yeah,
a
well,
round of
that's-
tequila for the table. That's the
That's
right
when
play.
that's when he did calm down. After he won that triple up.
Yeah.
He hasn't gone super crazy since then.
No, he raised a little bigger than he should. He overplayed the deuce 3, but yeah. Yeah, he does.
No.
He's not interested in getting all in for a 300 big blind pot. It looks
That
like.
might be his strategy is, just go nuts until you get a stack and then slow down and play a
Yeah.
game. Kind of weird, but
So here's our limper.
I don't know if I know his strategy.
I don't know it either.
He might be tilted when he started. Hey, we don't know.
2 overs,
Or
2
maybe
overs and a backdoor and
this crazy kid off his
good end of
computer
the
and
backdoor straight. I think he can bet this. This seems like a good time to bet small.
Can check, can bet. I mean, yeah.
Now he definitely can bet. And he does. Bets very large.
It's a very
Scary board, actually.
This goes to whatever someone was saying. I think it was Jake was saying about absolute value of his bet.
Mhm.
He's not thinking this is 2x pot. He's thinking this as
Yeah.
$2.
I think it's
Let's show it.
probably that big.
That's what he's betting. And remember a 269 bet on the turn is normally not a large bet because the pot is usually larger than that because it's a limped pot. And so that doesn't feel like a very large bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Someone who
I
is
don't
in
like,
absolute value.
coming to
Yeah.
conclusions too soon.
But it seems larger than necessary for if you want to play better.
We good? Thank you.
If you want to fold out one pair, so you have to bet big.
But you're so often not against one pair there by how the hand was played.
Yeah, but also a lot of
But
draws.
when you get called, yeah, it's that thing of it always works until it doesn't, and when it doesn't, it's cost you too much. And yes, you've got the straight draw to get there afterwards, but it seems unnecessary. Seems like you will accomplish all the good things with less of the bad things with a smaller bet.
I don't think so, but that's
Okay,
not, at least not with a small bet.
gotcha. Tell me the correction, and then we'll move on. Yes, just finish the thought.
If
Here.
you look at the flop, then you see that it's very draw heavy and it's very good for the big blind. All the cards.
Right.
Once the jack
What-
comes,
what
doesn't
can
it make
miss?
it better
What
for
can miss?
the other guy, villain 1? once the jack's there,
Yeah, but
theoretically.
if you bet small, what is missing here? This flop or this turn.
Right, but
Seven,
we,
five, jack.
Sorry, you're arguing that bet big is correct.
Yeah,
Oh
he
yeah, I
likes to
agree.
bet big,
Yeah.
I
right?
mean, there's an
Yes,
argument to be made also that there's
but how big is of course a matter of discussion.
Right,
there's
right.
a straight on board, so in theory, large bets actually are lower frequency.
Okay, what is the
Yeah, but the nut straight just changed with the jack.
what is the heuristic that I have given previously when it goes check check on the flop and the board changes
In position,
Yeah.
can bet big.
on the
I
turn?
wouldn't overbet, but I would bet big.
Yeah,
In position, can bet big.
Yeah.
but overbet, right? Yeah, I remember that.
Can bet
Yeah,
five.
Yeah, I think that applies more to a single raise pot. This was a limp pot.
Well, if you run a solver
Pretty similar.
just with the stack sizes, the solver doesn't know there was a raise. It's just running in position, out of position, what the ranges are, and this is the board. And this was
Yeah, but
solvers don't run knowing there was a raise. They just run based on this is how much the stacks are, this is how much is in the pot, and this is what the board is.
yeah, but also the ranges are important. So in a race pot, the ranges are different.
Yeah,
Especially
well, you would have to
Yeah.
give the solver that the,
you can have
you have to
Dweedy.
define a limping range for this position. And you would have to give this guy what is the range that he doesn't raise away.
Very wide.
This guy is very, very wide like that. Okay,
But funnily enough, these are actually pretty close. Like these two hands in particular are close to what would be an open and a call.
Mhm.
Just by happenstance.
yeah, the
right?
queen 10 can open here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the 10-4 suited, that's
It's a fold. It's a
Okay.
call.
I fold
it's a
it,
call in
but yeah.
It's a call in a tournament. It's a fold in a cash game.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a no rate cash game, like a time game, and the open was like GTO type 2.1 type stuff or 2.2 maybe. But
if it was that small, I'd call.
but I think it's a fold normally.
Yeah.
I find it weird, you talk about the fact that the solver doesn't know what the action was, it just knows this range is. I find it really weird when I look at these, they kind of play like they do. It's just weird.
Yeah, well, here's why. The range knows that it was a raise. The solve
Right.
calculation isn't considering it, but the range it gets there is only with the hand that would raise.
Yeah.
So that's how
Right.
that information gets
It
into
just-
the map.
Yeah, but also SPR is dictating something,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
I mean,
SPR is dictating a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I think the thing that I want to take away from this hand is just remembering the heuristic that if it goes check, check on the flop, when the top pair doesn't change, the out of position player can bet large because he convincingly could have been checking range with top pair, and the in position player really can't. But when the top pair does change, the in position player can because he didn't have anything before and now he does, and this guy has shown no interest twice, so he
And
can
what
bet
Jerry's
large. And on this board, is large $2 or is large $5? And maybe it's 5.
I think it's
Large 5 2 big blinds or 5 big blinds. Maybe overbetting is good because the pot is so small. So I'm gonna take away my thing of saying that there was no good reason for him to bet that large. And then I'm gonna edit it out of YouTube so that no
Now-
one hears me make it. All right.
We can all probably just assume that even though there was a reason to bet large, he doesn't know it. And he just picked that number.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
We can
That's what I would
condescendingly-
argue, but yeah.
We can condescendingly assume that with lots of evidence. All right, here we go. The villain 7 has stopped his ways, but villain 1 is in his villain oneness. So he's now limped enough hands that we can start to conclude that his range is dog shit for his limps and can play against it, not with a queen 4.
So you fold.
Okay,
And-
so now we
but-
know about the sizing.
Yeah.
It's just his size. Is that enough to get a 9 to fold? Yep.
Just out of curiosity, what are there any hands you would actually limp on the button there, or would you always raise?
On the button?
You mean limp behind?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not against this guy, but there's lots of hands that are worth limping
Maybe
behind.
with pairs, I would still limp against this guy. But,
hmm
You can
Yeah, because it's
profitably
kind of
limp.
awkward because we have here villain 5, right, with the big stack as well, who presumably is not a wreck.
So just simply put, you can limp
Mhm.
small pairs, small suited aces, suited connectors, and if you want to go bigger, suited gappers. But suited connectors, that's a fine thing. Put in one big
Okay.
blind. If you get raised
Yeah.
3 big blinds, call. If you get
Call,
raised
yeah.
6 big blinds, fold.
Okay,
I would against 6 blind. I would call still.
just for consideration, my study from raising ISO raising single limpers.
Mhm.
We are here. The very minimum range we would have would be the top half of a hijack range.
Yep.
From this spot. Can you turn on the HUD for a second?
Yeah, although I don't know if it's going to be, if the HUD is
Accurate.
accurate, because I don't know if it's gonna know the difference between villain 1. We'll tell once here we go. Here's the HUD. Once we see how many hands it says we have on him. It says we have 48 hands.
Says something.
Is that, no, but do we have, because his name is villain 1, so he can get confused with the other villain 1s.
I just want
Yeah.
to use the numbers as an example.
Okay,
and
great.
Numerically, this makes great. Okay, so we have a very wide limping fish.
Yeah.
The blinds, their numbers are tight. We'll assume that these are accurate HUDs for these players.
Yeah.
Their numbers are tight.
Holy
My
gee,
range
tight.
here, would be a full button range to exploit
Yeah,
the
I think I agree.
limping fish.
So, sorry, you would limp that or raise
No,
that?
he would raise that.
I would
Okay,
raise
okay. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
in this spot. I would raise a full button range.
Right. So the ace, deuce, ace 3, ace 4, ace 5, which are profitable limps, are better raises, he's saying. And the 6, 7 suited that you would raise here, if it was folded to you, is more profitable as a raise than as a call. But you're not uncomfortable calling 6, 7 suited or deuces or 4s here. You just think that the ISO
No,
raise is
yeah.
better.
Yeah,
think
I guess my question
right.
was more how out of line are you going to get considering the players behind? But
Yeah,
they look super tight, so I would be raising probably.
Yeah, I like
Not
that.
expecting
Stats
not to
like
get
this-
attacked.
Stats
Not
like
this
this,
hand, of course.
I'm almost going to ignore these two players.
Yeah, I almost open any 2 against those.
Well, not any two. I would limit it.
I say almost.
Oh. Since there's a blimper in the hand, I'm going to limit my range to a standard button range here.
Yeah.
Offsuit 9s and suited 6s.
I would
Pairs,
call
offsuit
8
aces.
against this particular pair. Would do offsuit 8s in position.
Okay, so he doesn't limp a 9-3 suited. Kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
Aces range, and now what does he do with?
All in.
with all
No,
in?
I doubt that. I don't think he's going all in.
I don't think so.
He could raise.
We'll
or he
see.
can.
Although with his thing of being adverse to not wanting to lose his 360, he can't lose his 360 against this guy. So he does that.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's this thing.
Now, this is an interesting situation. I mean, in theory, you're not slow playing out of position here.
Right. And I
However,
wouldn't be against him because he's
you-
shown himself to call big raises.
do you modify that for this?
I'd go 35.
He
Because
called,
I'm
yeah, he
calling-
called your 4-bet before.
No, I would go like 24.
I like the raise at 24 better than the 35, Scott.
Okay. You're right. Given how deep I'm not 97. I was thinking about my own stack against him. Yeah, it's not 300 big blinds.
Oh, yeah. No, he's only 100 big
I
blind.
don't want to hit the big blinds. Yeah. So
So
24 is
this is
enough.
a really interesting, sorry, this is a really interesting quality to me in this fish in that he's willing to pay a significant amount of money to, well, not anymore.
Right. Surprising. He's changed his
The last one, what did he have? 3-2 suited and he
3-2
called you
suited.
for that?
he called a 4-bet to, he called a 30 big blind 4-bet.
So he has some semblance of an understanding of implied odds, I guess.
I mean,
My theory is that some dad pulled his little shit son off the computer and said, stop playing my account.
possible, possible.
I will say
This king
that
7 is a perfectly cromulent 3-bet here. Perfectly reasonable 3-bet. Yeah. You were saying,
the thing that I'm working most, by the way, how's my microphone? Because I don't know if I'm using the
Sounds
right
good.
one.
Yeah, it's
Excellent.
excellent. Indeed.
10 out of 10.
The thing I'm working mostly on is like, what condition do I want to go to the flop with, right? And that's what would get me to size that down, because I'm okay with low SPR. Maximize the chance he calls, minimize, as long as I get to a decent SPR.
right.
And it's just that I've been really working on it. Mostly I've been screwing it up, but that's why I'm working on it.
And once we've seen him fold to that 24, when we're gonna make an adjustment about our sizing against him, because now that he's playing differently.
He seems to play more normal now.
Yeah, fine.
Still opening a bit big.
Yeah, still opening a big, but he hasn't done anything particularly crazy, except his bet sizes are inflated.
Yeah, but not that much actually.
All right. This this villain 5 who's been tight. Let's see, how tight is he really? Okay, he's not crazy tight. These 9s, if you had a calling range, 9s could be in it. But if you don't have a calling range in the cutoff, this is 3-bet or fold. So he has that. The kid is back on the computer, or the dad is not that good a player.
Yeah, the dad's not that good of a player. This is
Yeah.
this is a more traditional dumb move.
Yeah. And this seems like a really, really bad move.
Queen Jack indeed.
Yes.
Now it's getting bizarre.
Right.
Output position against 3 players.
Would you consider squeezing this? I don't think you should squeeze against this ace deuce
No.
because he's been tight, but
I might actually, but
No,
depends on
No.
how tight the ace deuce was tight indeed. So
ace deuce is tight. We don't want to do it against him.
no squeeze then.
Villain 5 and Villain 10 are so tight, and they've opened and called here.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
squeeze here.
I think
So
you can squeeze the suited version, but not this version.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could squeeze.
Yes. Just not this specific holding. No.
yeah, I almost fold that Jack Queen from the small blind.
Oh, I would fold. I would
Oh, yeah.
fold
Yeah, we're all
this
folding.
situation. 100%
Everybody
fold.
thinks that's a fold.
I
Okay.
would 3-bet that against normal players, but not these two.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably.
What do you mean by normal, Joey? Do you mean like good, like aggressive, tight aggressive players, or unknown normal player?
Not super nits like these two are.
I think
Anybody-
maybe
Like the standard opening range, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna put their HUD up again.
maybe if it's Villain 5 and only Villain 7 calls, that I
Can
can
you-
see Queen Jack squeezing more.
Can you quickly walk through what all these numbers mean?
Yes. The V is voluntarily put money in the pot.
Okay.
47% of the hand. So he's voluntarily putting money in about half the time. This guy is voluntarily putting money in 11% of the time. The next one, the P, is when he raises, when he comes in for, does he raise or does he limp or is he calling behind? What is he doing with this voluntary thing? This is his pre-flop raise. So this guy is limping a ton of hands and never raising them, which is what he did. I am putting money in the pot 16% of the time. And 8%
You're
of that
15,
time,
13.
Yeah, you're a fish.
Yeah.
That's not you, Scotty.
That's not you.
oh, good. That's not me. Where am I? Oh, this is me.
There you
15,
go.
13. Yeah, I'm a good player. There we go. I am
Yeah,
not
you're a
doing a
net.
lot of limping and I'm not doing a lot of calling. The green is how often you called a raise. So there have been 22 times that people have raised to me, and I've called them once. I've once had a hand, and that includes in the big blind. This nines has never called a raise, but he only had 9 opportunities to. He hasn't been here that long.
That 5/32 is scary
Yeah.
too from villain 5. Makes me not want to squeeze with
Yeah.
my queen jack off.
That seems like a good fold. Yeah. This guy is too loose, and his aggression for his looseness is not great, but it's not this. It's not 47-2.
What is the VPIP? We can't see that.
VPIP of who?
The ace 4.
Villain 7.
Ace 4. Okay, this is this is villain 7. Yeah, this is him. Maybe we don't have anything on the jack queen. Maybe this is
What is
why
the
do we not have
VPIP?
No, we
He's
can't
villain
see the VPIP of ace.
You
4.
can't see the VPIP of villain 7.
Oh, sorry. I'll move that over.
Still not.
50.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
50.
Villain 8s is over on the right
Okay.
in the unoccupied seat.
Villain
Just
8. Oh, the
misplaced.
villain 8's in the hole here. Yeah, 21-8.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that nit sitting in the low jack right now.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
15%. But tight aggressive.
I was gonna say that too, but then I realized it's like 10 max, not 6 max.
There we go.
Yeah, I think
It's
Well,
8. So
it's also low sample of hands.
Yeah.
and
I
also
think
they are raising too much.
We have not seen a hand yet that we have not seen a hand go by me that we thought I should raise, except for that 1-6-7-6 suited, the very first hand. All the other ones that I haven't played, we felt good about me not playing. Just a reminder to everybody out there, this is something that we have said many times. I'm saying it again because it's so important. When you see this and you're in the big blind and you go, look at this, my pot odds, I've only got to put in 2 big blinds to win 15. Oh my God. That is fixed limit poker playing thinking. What you should be thinking is, if I hit my hand, I'm going to be dominated. I'm going to lose a ton. You have to just fold. The more players in the pot, the tighter you are in the big blind.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we've said it many times in the session, but for anybody who's here, who's new, that thing, if you came from fixed limit play, where after a raise, a call, and a call, this is the mathematically correct call here in limit poker, I believe, is any 2 cards after you've got 3 calls. Because the raise is only the 2 big blinds, and your reverse implied pot odds are not bad because you can only lose 5 more big blinds after the flop. But that's not true in no limit. This is a fold. And if this was a 10-8 offsuit where you go, okay, could even make a straight, it's still a fold. But he calls, and that shouldn't surprise us. And he flops the
Good
an
shot.
equally best draw. He flops a good draw. And let's see what happens. Check. The 9s do not bet. This multi-way. And the ace 4 it checks around.
Nits. For a bunch of nits.
Yeah, not
The
betting.
9s should now bet. Now the 9s should bet.
Why wouldn't the nines bet pre-flop? I mean, on the flop.
Why didn't they, or why shouldn't they?
I mean, nobody agrees with that, right?
Any 10. Any call.
9 should bet.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
Yeah, because you have to think about it pre-flop. Well,
Well, he should have raised
y-
pre-flop.
y- yeah, well,
On the
villain
flop.
5, he obviously opened. Well, he opened. You
No,
just
ace
called
deuce
when you
open.
should have raised. Yeah, of course. Yeah, villain 5, he opened. Now, of course, you didn't 3-bet. That's okay. Now, everybody else who left to act, when they just flatted, they don't have anything better than your hand as far as pairs, or for example, ace queen, ace king, aces kings, of course, 10s, jacks, and queens. They don't have those hands. On the flop, when the pre-flop aggressor, villain 5, he does not bet. He does not have those hands either, meaning tens, jacks, queens, and ace king. It's ace queens that he bet on the flop. So that's more reason for me to bet my nines here on the flop.
Sure. The only reason I see not to bet the nines here is if we find in a multi-way solver that everybody checks the flop except for the last guy, and I don't think that's true. I think he's far enough to the end that he can bet. I agree with you. I would bet the nines there. I think
Yeah,
they're the best
so-
hand now, and I
Because,
have no
Jack
confidence they're
10,
gonna be the best
Queen,
hand
Jack,
on the next
King,
card.
King, Queen, King, Jack, King 10, etc. to fold.
Yeah.
Also, let's be honest, a multi-way,
Or any ace.
Yeah.
even the multi-way solvers are only 3-way.
Yeah, okay, good enough. This is ultra.
There's really no theory for 5-way hands right
Yeah.
now.
Yep, all right.
But I can think of one compelling argument to check the flop.
Yes,
Sets.
How many in a 5-way pot? How many streets of value can you get from pocket nines?
1.5.
2.
True.
I think you can get 2.
What do you mean?
So you're nobody here thinks we can get 3 at all, right?
Yes,
Sometimes if it runs very good.
You
In
get
a
a
5-way
run out
pot,
of an 8 on the river here.
in a 5-way
Well,
pot,
it depends on the
Action.
rest of the action.
give you any run out that doesn't give you a set or a straight, and you tell me that you want to bet 3 streets against
Deuce.
No,
One
no,
player.
no.
Deuce,
So
deuce.
Against
deuce
if
deuce.
you're most
Nice one.
likely going to have to check one street, it's not always that bad a thing to check the flop and see if the turn is.
Well, so Joey, I guess.
I would
Go
agree.
here.
Joey
Any
is
10 dot
this.
ace is losing the pot.
I'm not. What?
One at a time.
Any overcard to the 9 is very scary.
Right.
Yeah, my question on this is, do you want to front load your 1 street or back load your 1 street? I mean, is there an advantage to waiting?
I want
I'm
to
not
front
saying
load
that's
my.
what I'm doing. I'm just saying that's an argument for the possibility.
Gotcha.
The reason I would argue against that is you're really looking to clean up equity here.
Yeah, I agree with Jake.
yeah,
Jake,
he's arguing.
But you're making a good point that just because you think it's a 1 or 2 street hand doesn't mean you always have to make that street the flop. In this case, it makes sense.
Well,
Yeah,
if
so
I had
one
aces
street hand.
here, I would check.
yeah,
For example.
I know that my feeling here is I would like to get my 1 street on the flop before another card comes, because there is no other card I want to see.
Yeah, but
But
I
if-
would get mostly
if
2
you get
streets.
called- If you get
Go ahead, Joey.
called, if you get called on the flop, you're not liking any turn card whatsoever.
Yes,
A 10. I like a 10. I like a jack
if I get called
Why?
on,
or a deuce.
If I check on the flop, I also don't like any turn card. I don't
Exactly.
see the difference.
I didn't know the
I can
difference.
think
is-
of 2 cards
Yes,
you like.
but you've already
Yeah.
put less money into the pot.
Yeah, but I like some cards. I mean, I don't mind. A club I don't like, for instance. But that's,
I'll be honest, the 7's not bad. 7, pretty nice.
Yeah.
but it's a
7 lets me barrel again.
Yeah, because I block 8, 9.
Yeah, I think yeah, nines is like maybe the borderline to like start betting. Yeah, I would bet nines more here versus like
mean,
checking.
I would have
for protection.
bet 5 on the flop. I'm just producing an argument that
Okay,
I don't think his check was a big blunder.
sounds good. Yes.
There is some reasonable thought process that could come with a check.
All right,
Okay.
I got that. After this hand, Jake, do you want to go back to the king,
Yeah.
queen?
Oh, the king queen?
Yeah, the HRC. We never went back to HRC.
Oh,
after we ran it
Yeah,
down.
yeah, I have it up.
Good, yeah. All right, so let's finish
I
this.
really like the answer before. I don't want to look again.
Okay, there we go. So he bets and he takes it. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. We're gonna look at that
Sure.
king, queen against the 349, the way he's
How
playing.
far is it top down to?
It's down to
It
point
charges
3.
aces.
Point 3.
That should be good.
Yeah,
0.3 is
okay.
not bad.
And this ace 4 call should not surprise us. It was villain 7. We discussed that already. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so we're looking still here at the same spot, and it did get a little bit tighter for small blind.
Yeah,
Um,
the call is for the second.
This is an overcall, right?
This is the third player, right?
That's an overcall.
This is the third, fourth. This would be the fourth player. So this is MP2 calls, then button calls, then small blind calls. But you're still calling eights, which is just completely insane to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's for 5 big blinds. I mean, yeah.
No, yeah, no, this is,
Yeah, theoretical profit of 5 big blinds, yes. But I'm pretty surprised, like even this MP2 position where we were saying like King Queen is an obvious lot, like no good.
yeah.
Still winning 10 big blinds.
Yeah, it's
I would
interesting
take-
as
I would
well
take that.
because we see that the call off ranges behind are a lot wider than we thought,
Mhm.
which makes this even more an interesting
Yeah,
range.
Having seen this, I wouldn't use the range that it suggests, but I would be way wider than I just thought before. Like I would, on the first call, I would do, having seen this, I would be really comfortable going ace 10 offsuit, ace 10, king jack, king jack, maybe not king 10, ace 10, king jack
Oh.
or king queen. And ace, let's say ace 8 suited, not the king jack. That's what I would do. I would do everything.
okay, can we actually,
This is still running, right?
I would do
Yes.
This
10.
isn't done yet.
can we
That is,
actually, alright, so this was his third hand.
Yeah.
We saw the queen 4. I mean, I don't know if we can still actually say he's shoving any 2.
yeah.
Well, so
Because-
yeah, so
He
when
may
I went
need
to adjust
may
the
need
range,
a Broadway face card.
Yeah, this, we saw, no, we also saw Jack 3. Oh, no, we didn't see Jack 3 yet. We saw Queen 4,
I
and
think
so that
we
doesn't
had
mean he's
Jack,
doing 8-3.
we-
That's
we
true.
had Jack 3 on this
On this hand, yeah,
hand
that's
that we
true.
were running.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
still a face card.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think the any 2 is,
That
Given-
might still be a little bit wide.
yeah, when we see
So
Queen 4, we could intelligently make that the bottom of it up,
But still, if we know that he goes with any 2, we should adjust the ranges. But
You
Yeah.
know, it's interesting because I mean, this is when I was first trying to learn about exploitative poker. I cannot remember the book, but they talked about Bayes' theorem, and I have not like developed a deep understanding of it. But this idea that when someone's like off base, how many times do you need to be off base before you change your baseline assumption? And my takeaway from this, very intuitively, from what I've read, is not very many. Like if he did this like 4 or 5 times, I might not say ATC, but I
Okay.
would say
One.
really
Well-
friggin'
Alright, so where Bayes' theorem has a starting point. Scotty understands Bayes' theorem better than I do, but
I
say we-
don't.
well,
Same-
with prior and you mean that? Okay.
Can I finish?
Yeah.
Bayes' theorem, like, would start with what hands can he shove here profitably? Which, does it have in there if you put over his range? If you. Like the
sorry,
ones
I
in,
don't quite understand what you're asking.
okay, put the arrow back over the under the gun player. The hands in green are the hands he can shove for profit. Okay, so with Bayes' theorem, after he did this 3 times, we can expand that range. And comfortably expand that range. But after 3 hands, we can't go from this 5% range to 100% range.
right. The important piece of data that we got was the Queen 4. That was what we needed. And that was only enough to conclude Queen 4. And above.
I mean,
Yeah, I think
that
we
doesn't
concluded everything.
include ace 4 off, 9 4 off, 7 2 off, jack
Yeah,
2
that was
off.
the mistake. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, so absolutely. I mean, again, I don't understand base theorem. All I know is the takeaway I got was when somebody's doing something way off base, it doesn't take much it doesn't take many examples of that to say, okay, he's way off base.
Yeah.
And so whether, I mean, and if you reran this whole exercise at 75% VPIP instead, or VJam, or whatever you call voluntary jam, I think you'd wind up seeing very similar results. Clearly,
Right,
I would
and
agree, actually, yeah.
Not
Because
not
if you
a
keep queen 4 and jack 3 in, like these hands are losing so heavily.
Yeah.
anyway, I mean, I think we're beating a dead horse here.
Yeah, I was just
What-
amazed at how wide this range
Yeah,
was.
me too. And the dead
Well-
horse that we're beating, by the way, has 300 big blinds right now.
Well, what part of
Well,
that?
so I have to tell you that happened. I was playing in a drunken game in Motor City. At one point, this guy was just crazy. I mean, he was like, "Let's go all in pre-flop." He would, he would over raise 300 big blinds into a 4 big blind raise, all that shit, and it was hilarious because 4 people got burned doing exactly the right thing.
Mhm.
And that's what makes those games interesting and fun. And a couple of us, unfortunately, I was in that group. We didn't get sucked out on, but he was sucking out on everybody. And when people play that vibe, they suck out all the time. When I say all the time, not
Yeah.
statistically all the time, but and then everybody tilts and the game just gets better. And so this skill that we're talking about is not irrelevant if you play live, because you run into this, and maybe even if you play on Ignition, because apparently it happens. And so I think Scotty, thank you for using this example, because it's very interesting for me.
I love this.
Yeah, we're going to now see, it's interesting because what's happened is he has not had any hands that really he found interesting in a while. So let's see what he does
Well,
now that
okay.
a hand,
There's another part of poker thinking that explains it. When players go on tilt, they don't stay on tilt forever. They reach a point where they calm down and go back to their baseline. So I don't think on that 4 or 5 hands that he was like tilting. I think we almost have to kind of ignore those now, because his baseline has been shown to be different since he came off of tilt.
right. What we've seen from him is we've seen that as he's continued to play, his, when he makes an aggressive move, it's often too large. And he hasn't gone back to the crazy all in.
Yeah, he's kind of resolved into a really bad player from a crazy.
Yeah. Like this, he doesn't lose his mind on this at all.
Seems like a reasonable plan. No?
And this guy is playing exactly the way he was playing before.
Yeah.
Villain 1 has not changed his ways. And Villain 2 makes the right move here. He's suited. He's getting tremendous pot odds pre-flop, and he should fold. And if you want to see why, Villain 7 is one of the reasons why.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. All right. Good for him. Flops 2 pair. Is he going to check range? He does. And now back, and now too large. This is the thing that we see,
Bad hand to do it with and too large.
bad hand to do it with, that, he should have at least a
Oh, this is
spade,
bad.
all those various things, but too large. And
So
Yeah,
let's
so
talk.
Oh, all in jam.
I mean,
I don't think that's too bad here.
well, so here's my thinking,
Yes,
which,
bad.
on a monotone board like that, you really have to, do you really want to play for stacks with top 2 on a monotone board like this?
I think
And-
you raise, but you definitely don't use the sizing. But I think generally you fast play this.
Yeah, but if you raise, then it's
the right size.
20 already in the pot. And what percentage of pot are you betting then?
No, but see here. Excuse me for he's jamming for 50 big blinds, so it's only 50.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Yeah,
He's
Well,
not doing it for
you are
100 plus.
denying it's, I don't think it is because you're denying equity and you are ahead of a great majority of these people's ranges. Notwithstanding the 2% of the time someone fluffs a flush, and you still have outs, by the way. But you are
Yeah,
now denying, you are protecting, over protecting the value of your hand, right? So you could see it here. He's got 60% equity here. This flush draw has 36% equity. So you've now denied, you've won the pot and you've denied equity to ace jack, but your goal in poker is not to win pots, it's to maximize your profit. And this is not a maximally profitable play.
what size should he make it then if he raises?
I would probably go, so it's weird. I don't know how to play a 50 big blind starting stack,
Yeah,
but
that's the reason I
I
joined.
would probably go to 20, maybe 18.
Yep.
What?
And at
What?
that point, this is the perfect thing. I'm now all in. I'm now on Team Jam for him. I think he did the right thing
Yeah.
because check raise is a good move here. And if he's going to check raise, it's going to be more than a third of his stack. And when you bet more than a third of your stack,
right.
you may as well
So-
go all in.
Bad to go all in.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe, but
I have
but
an
I would
argument
Right,
prefer to,
against raising.
I would prefer to have
all indeed.
a raise size that entices our flush draws to keep in, right? You're
Yeah.
60-40.
Right.
That's good in poker as far as I know.
Yep.
And you don't want to deny equity in a 60-40 situation.
No, you're better than 60-40.
No, you're not.
60-40
Exactly,
against.
60-40.
against
Yeah, a
the
bit
players.
better.
So
Like,
I think
if
that
you're against the flush draw, you're better than 60-40.
Yeah, I'm just going off the equities that we're showing on the
Yeah.
game, Joey.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not going off
The
theoretical
first
equities.
draw gets
You're right.
call, almost.
yeah. So Scotty, I think you make a good point, and I think that this is probably better than I said it because I didn't realize there was 50 big blinds deep.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
thought it was terrible. And then I looked at it and went, I kind of like
Right.
it. It's not
I,
Right,
I
broken.
just
I'm
think
like-
that I think you want to keep people in. I mean, you've got a really good hand here, and you're denying equity to hands that can call. You're only getting, the argument is it's very hard for a flush draw to call to this size.
Say, Larry,
But
how
I
would
think
you
you
play
prefer to
this?
keep flush draws in.
Larry, how would you play this 300 big blinds deep if you were effective?
Oh, well, that's insane. I don't usually play that at big blinds deep. I'm usually rat holing far before then.
So,
But-
sorry, can I make an argument though against the raise here? And I think that's that when this nitty villain 10 checks, and villain 7 bets, like villain 10 probably doesn't have the flush here. He might have a draw, but he probably doesn't have the actual flush, right?
Mhm.
So I think when villain 7 bets in here, I think we just want to call, let villain 10 also potentially call. We have effectively the nuts, except for the actual flush. But if someone does have a flush, we really don't want to get more money in here with our 2 pair. So let's
yeah,
just
but you're
call,
going
see where things develop. Does another spade come? Another spade comes. Our 2 pairs dead. But I think like we can get a bigger pot by, not trying to deny equity here
What
from
do you
single
do if,
spade hand.
Yeah, I think you want to
what
go in
do you
between.
do
I
if
see your
no
point.
spades
I
come?
just don't think that you want to. I don't think that you want to fold out draws, and that's what you're doing.
Yep.
But
Okay.
I do think if you're going to bet, I think you do have to bet all in though, because of your sizing of your stack.
Yas, you had a statement?
No, yeah. If you call, what do you do if a non-spade comes? If it's 3
Check.
way, well,
Check.
you check, and then it's checked again.
And if a non-spade comes, but we're assuming that I bet you villain 7 is going to bet again. I still think you call down because of the spade.
If a spade comes,
you-
you call down, and if non-spade comes, you don't call down. Also,
Sorry. No, if a spade comes, you don't call down anymore.
Yeah.
yeah, if no spade comes, and yeah, they
You
check
fold.
behind you probably, maybe.
Okay,
I-
I just
So yeah, okay. Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
bet-
I'll go. So go ahead, Joey.
this is going back hands. I just did the base theorem.
Yeah.
For The original player, and after 3 hands, it's at 15%.
15% that he's doing any two.
Yes.
Right. But you haven't seen, but when you see the queen four, that changes everything. If all you see is the 3 all-ins, you have 15%.
Well, no, I used queen 4 as the second baseline for PB.
Oh,
And that's about like 40. So I did like 5% to 40% because we saw the queen 4.
yeah,
So I saw where queen 4 kind of fell in the overall hand
Right.
thing.
yeah,
So I used that range for A and then PB.
right. Yeah, and that,
And it came
that-
up with like 14.9%.
yeah,
So you're saying there's only a 14% chance that he has the wider range?
no,
According to
yeah, that he
base,
has the
No,
widest.
that
range.
he
according
that
to
he
base
has-
theorem,
any 2 cards.
right?
Yeah,
That's according base theorem.
yeah,
Yes.
So
Right.
I don't think that, yeah,
and I was,
does
and once we
apply in
talked
this
about,
situation.
well, but here's the thing, Yoss. Once we talked about it again, did you think that even on tilt that he was going to do that with his 8-3 offsuit there? Were you confident that that's what he was going to do it with?
No, I don't say it's that he will do it with 100% of hands.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what Bayes' theorem was telling us.
Yeah, so like I don't really want to do this.
No,
now,
that's
but
not.
I would love to see how that math works, but I do not want to do it now.
Okay.
Yeah, but if he jams with queen 4, I think he will jam queen 4 the next time again. And that's not what Bayes' theorem is saying.
No, Bayes' theorem, it
No,
does.
No,
The Bayes' theorem, we're trying to come up with his range. And we're making an assumption that may
yeah,
not be.
but
We're making
you,
an assumption that he has a static, let me finish, Yoss, here. We made the assumption before we ran Bayes' theorem that he has a static range that we're trying to figure out the size of. And the queen 4 tells us that that's the bottom, that we know 100% in Bayes' theorem that queen 4 is the bottom of his range, not queen 4 that time, and he might not do it again. We're assuming if he sees it again, that he's doing it 100%, right, Joey?
no,
Yes.
that's not what Bayes' theorem is doing.
Okay, you tell me, explain, Yoss.
Bayes' theorem is setting a prior. The prior is the range that is normally used. I think that's what you used, the GTO range as first.
On the
Right.
first,
That was
That
my
percentage.
first
So we go
range.
out from the prior. That is the previous range. Now you
Right.
see queen 4. That's like 50% of the range. And I think you use that to find out the post.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah. Okay, but I don't think bias applies here because he has the prior. I throw that out of the window. I see queen 4 because he has no clue about ranges.
Right. I mean, I don't know why we didn't talk about this before, but my hypothesis of this evaluation of these hands is, my conclusion is, he's using donk theorem, donk strategy because, no, seriously, because once a player donks queen 4 and these kind of hands, it's like, yeah, they're gonna do it again and they're gonna donk again, and that's how the kind of life they live. So yeah, just follow that.
Yeah, but we were trying to actually come up with a confidence percentage of where we could, of him being any 2 cards.
Yeah, but Bayes' theorem
Okay.
is making some assumptions. What are the assumptions that Bayes' theorem is making?
Well, we had
Does it
3
apply
hands.
in this situation? That's the question.
We had 3 hands. We have seen queen 4.
Yeah, but you're applying it
So-
to a situation where Bayes' theorem is not meant to be for, I think. That's my reasoning, huh?
Well, no, that is exactly how Bill Chen used it and explained it in Mathematics of Poker like 20 years ago.
Yeah, so he's right. That's what you're saying.
yes, we're assuming,
No,
we're
I'm
assuming that
not-
Bill Chen is right.
I'm assuming that Bill Chen was right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yep.
And I think that's not correct.
Okay.
Not in this extreme situations. For small situations, it doesn't matter that much. So yes, then in large numbers, yes, it
Well, no, I was
will fit
doing
out.
it. I forget who said it, but Josh said something that we only need a small sample on Bayes' theorem, and my part was that since we're going from such a large gap, we still need a lot more than 3 hands to have a high confidence interval that he is playing any 2 cards that way.
Two for sure.
So our confidence interval with the information that we have is about 14%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I disagree that you applied base theorem to here, but that's.
All right, so I mean, again,
I just saying base theorem. I don't agree applying that here.
Applies here. Yep.
okay, that's helpful. I mean, that's why I brought it up, because now I'm going to think about it some more, but I don't think we're going to get to an answer.
However, we have not yet you have not yet completed what's going to happen in this hand. The
I
ace is
know.
here with his 30% and not even drawing to the nuts. And the way he plays, we know he's going to fold, right? He has to fold. Oh, I thought the ace 4 called. Thought I remembered him calling on this. Sorry.
Ace jack should fold there though.
Yeah, the ace jack needs to fold there. Yeah. On this hand, I thought it was going to be more entertaining. I thought the ace 4 called. On this hand, we've had several people say that if he does at first that his raise was crazy. Now that we've seen it, if he's going to raise here, I don't think anyone thinks that this is a bad raise. Josh thinks it's not the best raise. Josh thinks that if he's going to raise here, he should raise smaller and not knock out these people, just make them pay for their.
Well, no, actually, I corrected myself when I realized we were 50 big blinds.
Okay, yeah, that's why it's only for the 50. If he jammed 100, I would think this was crazy.
Well, and that's why I asked the question: how would you play this really deep
Yeah.
game? Because it becomes that monotone board becomes a lot
Okay,
scarier.
good enough. Good enough. So we've come to that, and then but the one thing that we left out there was we said the other option was just call and see. And one thing that wasn't said about the just call is if you just call here, the jack may come in, it may not. The guy may have a spade, he may not. But just this is the other thing you're offering is because you're out of position. If you just call, you're giving villain 7 the chance to get 2 free cards. Because when the non-spade comes on the turn and you don't donk, he can now check behind to get his spade again. So that was just the
Yep.
other consideration of why the raise here might be nice.
Either the raise or the check bet turn for
Yeah.
sure, but not
Yeah. That's an interesting
call and
line.
then check.
Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
interesting line. Call and then bet a non-spade. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But
I would
not
never do it. I
call,
like
check.
it. Yeah, I like it. Okay. Here's another nitty fold from me.
Can
And
you
there,
just
and
swap-
now he's gotten weird.
Yep.
Not jamming, but the father has gone to get a beer and the kid is back on the keyboard.
Looks that way.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Oh wait, I know
Is
what's happening.
Someone
Is
has
the
asked
right-
a question.
It's because he just lost a hand.
Oh, good point.
Got it? Go, Joey.
Oh, I didn't see. I was still playing with the calculator.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say that this looks like he just took a hit off the crack pipe, and then
Do
he
that.
comes down. He comes down 5 minutes later, plays normal, takes another hit.
Could be that. But I would not discount this, that this had an effect.
Yeah, I wasn't really watching this whole hand.
Yeah, the important thing is he bet he makes a bluff and he gets raised off his bluff. That's all that's important. And maybe
Oh,
that affects his mood.
It's cookie jarred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Your
yeah,
guess is
exactly.
as good as mine.
So
yeah.
he tilts easy.
Can you?
I think we
can
could
you
say with
move-
100% accuracy, he tilts easy.
Yes.
But I think we'd have to do a base
Yeah,
theory
correct.
calculation.
All right.
That's what I would
Can
say.
you do a seat change to?
You can't see check
Can't.
in this game.
Can you quit the game and come back in?
You might get lucky, but you might not get back on that table.
I'm guessing you're.
You don't get to choose it.
It's an
You don't get to choose.
because you
Isn't it?
don't want to be
No,
in
I
the
don't like
seat
my
that
position.
you're in. You're in the worst seat
Right.
because you have. So I would at this point I would quit the game and try to come back in.
Any seat is good here.
It's a risk. It's a risk.
Yeah, I don't
Wouldn't
think you can do that.
like you have
You might
almost
not
the
even get the
god
same
seat
table,
open.
though.
Yeah.
Oh, you get to a random table?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
you don't
okay.
know you're coming back to this table, but
What
you
site
might
is this?
say what?
This is
Ignition.
What site
ignition.
is it? Oh, okay.
That's
I
on a
have no
lot
idea how that works.
of poker sites.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Let's just hope that I don't flop king, queen, 5 here.
King 5.
Ah. You want to see what a VPIP
You'll
of
lose.
you want to see what a VPIP of 40 looks like.
No, that's worse than a VPIP of 40.
I know.
Yeah, but he sees the villain 7, and then he says, "I have to play. I have to play."
Maybe that's what it is.
Or maybe he sees villain 4 and says the same thing, the guy with the king, queen.
It could
So,
be easily.
hypothetical question here. Does it make sense? So we're only seeing multi-way pots.
Mhm.
Does it make sense for us to increase our RFI size on this table?
With good hands, yes.
Sure. You could make that adjustment. You don't I don't think that these guys are gonna perceive anything for it. I think they're gonna play the same as they play.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to do it
I
with this hand. I wouldn't want to raise this
I
hand.
don't necessarily do that because I have actually done the math before on what our range can be, how delicate our range is based on our open sizing. So
Mhm.
I don't like to mess with that because you have to, if you're going to
You play
start,
tighter.
if you're going to start opening 5 big blinds just so you didn't get called as often, you have to really tighten your range.
All right.
And
I would.
it gets
Well,
too
sorry.
tight that it's almost not playable anymore.
Yeah, but so like I don't think the goal when you choose to increase your RFI like in a really loose like 1-2 game like a live cash game 1-2 game, you're doing it because they're calling you with worse hands, not because they're folding more. You're not trying. You just give up the idea that you're not going to play multi-way, and you adjust your range accordingly.
Yeah, I mean, my
I have to
motivation would
open bigger.
to be reducing the frequency of multi-way pots,
See, I don't
especially
mind
this
playing-
early.
Yeah, I don't
See,
think you can do that. I don't think you can do
I'm
that.
not I don't mind playing multi-way. If I'm gonna raise the normal size. If I get called 3-4 ways, I'll just play it the smartest way I can. I'm still
It's
going
still
to make
profitable.
money.
Yeah, but I like the. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go
I'm
ahead.
still gonna make profit. I just won't win as many hands.
Yes.
But the hands I win will be a bigger pot.
I believe that Bart of Bart Haxton, Bart last name? Bart, I believe
Henson.
I believe it was Bart who said this, which was about varying your raise size, which was at a table, especially a live table, you want to choose a raise size that most often gets you heads up. If this table, and then you have to adjust your range back from the raise size you do, but that on tables that are going multi-way too often, his suggestion was choose a raise size that gets you, it can't guarantee it, but that gets you heads up very often, because that's how poker is played best. So that's sitting out there. I don't know if the deuce 9 is attracted by villain 7 being in or attracted by multi-way pots.
Well,
Maybe we'll notice.
when the coaches do say that there is a limit, most of them say up to 5.
Sure.
Like I'm sure Bart said that too, up to 5-ish big blinds.
Yeah.
But when you got to go 10, 11, 12 to get a heads up,
Clearly.
it's not even worth trying it.
It's a different game. Yeah.
I
Sit
think
and wait for aces and raise to 9. Yeah. Sit and wait for aces and raise to 9.
Well, my point is when you're not when you're in that situation, there are times sometimes to still increase your raise size because you do it with especially if you do it with your premium hands and they're calling you, you're just getting your money in good. Even multi-way.
Yeah.
I'm fine raising to 17 on a 1-2 table.
Okay.
I find that
There are times when I'll do that, not very often, but I'll.
Especially live indeed, because even more call happy.
In 20 years, I have never done that.
Yep.
All right,
Never.
so
I've never done
our
it.
hero now faces a very interesting hand. 3 ways.
No,
ways.
what do you
Yeah,
mean
it
3
does.
ways? 4 ways. This ace 4 did not take, was not here. He did not, no, he did not hear what we said about in the big blind get tighter with each person in. So he goes in.
4 ways.
Yeah, but against those players, I wouldn't mind.
Not listening.
Yeah, and as it turns out, his you know, he's got 23% equity and he's only putting in less than 23% to get it, but he's also can't realize it because he's out of
Yeah,
position.
but yeah, exactly. You know,
this is
this
a
is where you have to remember.
Even against these players, this is a losing play here.
And he also has terrible reverse implied on.
Not against those players. Only against Scotty.
Well, I'm folding.
Low board. I have a pair. Bam.
I'm folding. We're done.
Now he comes off tilt.
Yeah, he's happy now.
Yep.
Yep. He's back, baby. He's back different, but he's back. And this guy, oh yeah,
But he
this guy
sees
just
it
wants
in
to
the
be
big
in.
blind and in the small blind, so he's betting big.
Yeah. So these guys, yeah, these are the these guys are having a party with each other.
Yeah.
King 7 can't call here.
Of course you. I don't know. I charge my. I have a good shot.
He does have a gut shot. And he's
Yeah, but
paying
now we could see whether
You don't
He's
flop
gonna-
any better with 5-4.
if he does right now, if he plays it right though, if this guy doesn't continue, is he gonna make the most of his draw on this? Is he gonna take
yeah,
it from him?
I
I
don't
knew he
think
was gonna
so.
check.
I think he's checking behind.
Yeah.
Yep, he wants to get there.
Bet out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, of course. He checked. He checked on the turn.
Yeah. Here we go.
That's what you
He
do.
played it
against
so bad.
Bluffing with the best hand. Oh, he's so happy now. Oh. All right. Is he gonna take another 100 big blinds from villain 12?
This
I
is going to get
I
interesting.
really like that he bet that he did bet on the river.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, a normal
size.
raise. Oh my
Look at that
god.
normal size. I like that he bet on the river also. For what he was trying to get, does he need to be that big?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he trying to get a queen to fold?
Does he know you can bet smaller than pot?
Yeah.
He might not have that button.
No, so it might look suspicious if he bet smaller than the pot.
All right, here we go.
What size do you like from the ace king here?
Well,
9.
Let's see how many colors he gets
Nah.
before.
12.
Oh, yeah.
I think 9
12
is
minimum.
too small.
Nine's
against
too small
multiple
now.
callers.
All right, let's go.
I-
9, 12, 13 and a half.
13 and a
And you're
half.
gonna get called. Exploitatively push it up to 15. You're gonna get
Yeah.
called.
Is
And you
villain
think that you-
12 new or did he just top up?
Okay.
So he doesn't
12.
know what happened before?
Villain 12, yeah, villain 12 is new. He doesn't
So
know.
he doesn't know what happened before.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, yeah, it's ace king,
Excellent
so he
point.
has the raise.
Yeah, so he should just go to his normal, 12 and a half, 13 and a half,
Something like that.
or 33. How about 33?
This guy is scared. This guy's scared with his ace king for sure.
Yeah. Maybe he does, maybe he just got to the table, but he came back trying to get a better seat and didn't get one. Maybe, and so he does remember this guy.
Oh, he's gonna get stacked.
Easy call.
Or he's got doubling up, but that's what he's saying is 100 big blinds.
He's gonna fold. He's gonna fold. He's gonna fold.
No way.
I'm pretty sure 100
He
big blinds is,
can't
Oh
fold now.
no.
He can't fold now.
no, he can't fold.
Well, okay. You can do whatever you want.
He wasn't gonna fold. And now our friend is going to have 463 big blinds and I have 359. Is this gonna end well for me?
Now.
No, it's not.
Oh, man.
The game with aces and he has kings and he River's a king.
I hope it's a cooler, Scotty.
Me too.
No, it's not
Nope,
gonna,
it's not
I have a
machine.
memory. It doesn't end bad for me. It just doesn't end well. I play the kings against him. I think it's the only hand I play against him. It just never happens.
Yeah, but you should open 5 deuce.
I'm sitting, yeah, I should open 5 deuce. Cause he's opening 6-4.
Just call 5 deuce. Not to play against him.
Oh, look at this guy. He has a real hand there for that. Not playing it the best way, but it's a real hand. All right, eights. Eights has seen everything. He's been here the whole
Yeah,
time.
There's a very big stack. That's a problem.
Yes. And so does this guy.
Well,
He does
I
the whole,
mean, his implied odds now are just,
I would call.
he's got it. He cannot, there's no chance he can fold. Should he squeeze? I don't think so. This guy I don't think it's high enough to want to build the pot against this guy.
Well, I don't think that you can have confidence that you're gonna not get jammed on.
Yeah, you might get jammed on.
You gotta flat this and because you have such an opportunity for the implied odds. Somebody said it already. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you gotta flat this because you got to.
Okay,
And now,
can you
this
walk
is
me
tough.
through why
Jack
you gotta
8
flat
suited.
this?
What do I want to call Jack 9 suited here. I think I want to call Jack 8 suited here and fold Jack 7.
Why
I
are you
don't
flatting
mind.
The
It's close.
with the 8-8?
It's just close.
I don't mind it. I think actually I would call Jack 7. Fold Jack 6. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, the thing you got to remember is it's going to be pretty hard to realize your equity against this guy. So he can get really aggressive on you.
Yeah.
And so I do think that you got to flat some of these things, but I wouldn't get too ambitious like Jack 7, Jack 6, but I don't know where the line is. But I do know that that's a consideration. You're going to play out of position against a very aggressive player.
Right.
I would fold this.
Okay. How about Jack 9?
Jack 9's starting to look more enticing.
Okay. Now, here's my bigger question. Jack 10 suited could easily be a 3-bet here. Would you do it against villain 7? I wouldn't.
Never.
Never.
Why?
Certainly not with this stack size.
It's the same thing. You know, the probability that villain 7 is going to play aggressively against you, i.e. respond with a raise, is higher than quote normal population or whatever you want to call it.
But that's
And therefore,
why.
when you have the opportunity to close the action and see the flop, because you're not folding him out enough. He's under folding and over rejamming or over re-raising.
Yep.
So it's not a good time to bluff, which is a Jack 8 suited re-raise.
Or Jack 10 suited.
Well,
even a Jack 10 suited. Derek, you're about
Jack
to say.
10 suited.
Same. Yes, Jack 10. Even it's
Jack
still
10 suited.
it's still a bluff.
I like to call with Jack 10 suited. Jack 10 off, I would 3-bet.
Okay.
I would fold.
And then fold to it and then just fold to a raise.
No, I would just fold
again,
Jack 10 offsuit and just wait for the next hand. Wait for a better spot.
again,
The power of position against an aggressive player is really notable.
Right, but actually,
Yeah,
I don't
good.
think he's an aggressive player too much. I think he's more of a donk and not so aggressive, at least post flop.
Oh, okay, so if that's your read, then it might change it. Yeah, absolutely.
That's my intuition.
I would still call him aggressive. But Derek, you had a point you wanted to make.
I don't understand why you're not raising 8s. Like even out of position against a total donk.
I would.
So
I
it's a
would raise
3-bet, right? What are you getting called by?
A black card
6-4
or a red
off.
card.
Very often a black card or a red card from this guy.
Yeah, that's
Right,
his
but-
range.
Here's why I'm not doing it. I think against villain 7, my 8s, which is a good hand, doesn't generate a fold and puts me in a inflated pot super deep out of position, which is going to be really hard to play 8s.
Jack 10 is also coming in.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Now, I'm also thinking that there is a certain amount of the time, and it's not a small amount, that he 4-bets, and when he 4-bets big, and I'm going to need to throw away my 8s, and my 8s are so valuable.
Okay, let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
When he was on tilt the first time, when did he come out of tilt?
When his stack grew.
When he won a tremendous pot.
Yeah. After his second tremendous.
When did he start going to normal open raise sizing?
After he won an enormous pot here.
Have we seen him shove all in light when he was not on tilt?
No.
I'd be willing to bet that he's in this situation, that he's out of his tilt and I can still target him with a 3-bet.
Okay.
But have we seen him fold?
Once.
Yeah, still I don't mind.
We saw one fold. We saw one pre-flop fold.
I'm not raising this to get him to fold pre-flop.
Yeah, you're raising him to play out of position with pocket eights and that.
Against probably two
That's
players.
what I don't want to do. I
Against
don't want
probably
to play
two
anybody that way. I'm not good enough.
I'm
I
fine.
don't mind
if
it, but I
if he makes it
wouldn't do
50.
If I were on the
I'm totally
button,
fine with him if he makes it 50.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
like,
No, 50's too much.
you don't think he'll go 50?
No,
if he makes
calling
20?
a 4-bet.
Like if he goes 50, let's say I raise it here to 15 and he makes it 50.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with that.
Okay.
you're gonna. What are you gonna do with it? You're gonna flat it?
Yep.
And tell me what your plan. What's the plan?
I'm gambling. Like I think that my range is better than his range, basically.
And you're gonna have to believe that for the next 3 streets because you're out of position. Every time you check to him, you're giving him an opportunity to.
That's what
Bully
we're
you.
signing up for. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
I'm totally fine.
Here's-
with
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I'm
Yeah.
totally fine playing 400 big blinds deep
he,
against any 2 cards with 8s.
Yeah.
Josh,
so-
there's just one more thing that yes, it's harder to play out of position. But when you take the initiative, you take some of that hardness away by having the initiative.
Against 2 players.
okay. I mean, I
Can you
hear you.
expand on that?
I'm going to process that. I don't think I mean, I think that there's some truth to that, but
Yeah.
I have a huge respect for our position. But your point's well taken.
But if you think that under the gun player is calling too much, then the other guy is also calling probably.
Yeah, we know villain 1 calls too much. We know that.
That's the reason I wouldn't 3-bet here. But
Yeah.
I don't mind it. But
Yep.
I
We
would-
haven't seen villain 1 call a 3-bet yet.
Yes, we have.
actually.
but
Yeah, we have. He did it
Yeah, we
crazy.
have.
He did it crazy against me with his 6-8 against my kings. We have seen it.
Okay.
At least, but he also get good odds if the first one calls. I mean, it depends on how big you make it, but
Yeah.
still,
So
I wouldn't do it.
with this one, I just want to say that that let me see here, that I agree with Derek about, and that's why I'm not raising, because I don't want to call a 50 big blind one with 8s and play it out of position against him and gamble like that with my 400 big blind stack. But
Well-
that is what it's absolutely, that is what you're signing up for. And
Because I think if you call here,
Why don't you want to play 400 big blinds out of position against someone with any 2 cards? What's your reasoning
because he
behind
doesn't
that?
have any 2 cards.
yeah, I have not concluded from his recent play that he has any 2 cards. He's folded a bunch. But what I have concluded
Okay,
is
50%
I want-
then.
No, less than 50.
he hasn't been
50%.
playing 50%
He's
of
not
him.
opening 50%.
Yeah, he's been very calm. He's folded a lot. He's folded a ton
Well,
of hands.
Now, last time we looked at his HUD, he had a VPIP of 50.
Yeah,
But
but
that was
he doesn't.
one or not.
I don't think he does now.
Okay. Let's say he has 50, just for argument's sake.
Yeah, but that's
And I gave you the option
wrong.
of
I'm wrong. He's 50.
Okay,
Yeah, but
let's
he
say he has
opens,
50%, right?
Yeah, but
And I
that's
give you the
everything.
option of
Yeah,
400 big
oh.
blinds.
he's now under the gun and he raises. So that's
Yeah.
different than
Yeah.
any tip of 50. Yeah.
Keep going. Derek, make your point.
So, I think that your skill level makes up for the under the gun, that you can play like a 400 big blind pot with him,
Of course you
even
can.
if he 4
You have
bets
more
to fold
confidence in my skill level than I do.
I also, and by the way,
Because you
that's
got
the difference.
massive card advantage, right?
I get this is not a perfect situation, but
Eights are not
I
massive.
would say
Okay.
playing bad because you're a better player is not making you a better player. I struggle with this all the time because you're like, well, I'm better than this guy, so I'm going to stay in the hand. And there's probably a little bit of truth to that, but you can get yourself in really bad spots with that attitude.
Okay.
So
That's my perspective. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's
one big
Okay.
disagreement I think I have in general with what you're saying here, Derek, is that most of the hands have not gone to showdown. So
Right.
we don't actually know. In fact, I'm not sure we've seen many showdowns where it's not got all in pre-flop. So we
Right.
don't really know how he's actually playing.
Right, but you've seen 50%.
Post-flop.
You've seen him play 50% of the hands, right?
Right, but
And
he's
you've
only
seen him-
raised like 20.
Right.
So
But-
when he bets this 3 big blinds, it doesn't actually, he's only 20% of hands.
Okay. So you got a top 10% hands going against the top 20% hand. You're still a favorite.
You're not
Yes,
though.
yes, but I think with eights calling, I'm a bigger favorite.
Yes, I also agree, but I don't think eights are actually ahead of 20%.
Free betting is okay, but I think calling is better, but that's my opinion.
Yep. So we're gonna move on, except for someone has made a very easy claim to check. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna move on, which is give this guy 20% of hands. Oh, this is so fun when you can just do this.
No, eights is not ahead of 20%.
There's 20.
Eights
Add.
is eights is near the middle of 20%.
Yep, let's try that again. Eights, add, and pocket eights. 8-8. Quick run. A little bit ahead, and out of position makes it worse.
yeah.
So-
Your EQR on this is
There's
very.
another player in the pot.
Yep, and I think this guy's coming along. So I like this, and
Okay.
here, and my thing was in this situation, I don't want to 3-bet the Jack 10 suited. I want to call the Jack 9 suited, and I don't know what I want to do with the Jack 8 suited.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, but in reality, I'm gonna call it and just and hope to flop big and get all of them in. All right. Now we'll see how hard it is.
Scotty.
Yeah.
Let's go back one step. If
Yes.
you had eight in a small blind, and these were just 2 randoms, what are you doing?
I'm calling.
I'm considering, I'm doing a lot of squeezing. And with 7s and 6s, I'm doing some folding.
Against under the gun raise.
1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5 against low Jack -2. Remember, there are 3 players missing,
Mm,
not under the
that's
gun.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's low Jack -2. So yeah, I'm
I hate the squeeze with eights. I think eights is way too good to squeeze.
yeah.
So it's interesting.
I would mix all 3.
But if you look at GTO Wizard, I'm wondering what it does with eights against such an early position raise.
Oh, that's
I don't think we can go.
Gonna call.
Yeah, we can.
It doesn't have 400 big blind.
I mean, if you just did the live where you could do the multi-way thing, I think you would. Let me just see if I can look at it real quick. Keep going.
Oh, poker coaching has calls. We can look at poker coachings.
Who?
Ye-
Well,
yeah.
GTO Wizard has calls too. What
Yeah,
A
I'm
lot of the
looking-
value of these eights is that of the implied odds, right?
Yeah.
low Jack called.
Yeah, there's also fold equity. That's something I agree.
Yeah. And
So
I think
it-
100 big blinds is going to be 9s.
low jack calls. And we're in the small blind range. I'm 150 deep in a cash game. I'm just
Put it up.
looking, get something quick. I'm trying. And it starts mixing folds in as high as jacks.
Okay.
And it is folding more frequently with eights than anything else.
Let me just
Oh,
ask a question. Do we think
Okay.
that this villain is capable of stacking up with top pair for 400 big blinds?
yes.
Absolutely.
All right, then the
Absolutely.
value of our eights goes up significantly.
Okay.
All right.
Like calling.
And my next step in this analysis,
Yeah, raise
Do
call
you
fold
think-
is what I thought.
do you think the villains have a wider range or a tighter range than GTO Wizard?
Oh, the question was, what do we do against optimal players? That's where you start folding your eights. This is
Right.
which you're never
Right,
folding.
no, Joey, yeah, Joey's establishing that as his baseline. So he starts with, how do you want to play eights against regular players, which weren't GTO, but they were better than this? And then he's saying, now, do we believe these guys are wider or less wide? Way wider, way wider. That's easy. Okay, next step.
Way wider, which means eights is a better hand than in the GTO range.
Right, so I can't fold it. We established that. Now, do I raise or call?
I like raising. I don't like ace queen suited, I think is a good call. Jacks I'd be raising, tens, nines, eights. The 7-6-5s, those I really think eights will be near my bottom.
Yeah, but this is for 150.
Holding them. The 7-6-5s, given this, are you calling them?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Then if the difference is between whether that some of us are calling sevens and raising eights and some of us are calling eights and raising tens, seems like a reasonable disagreement.
No, Scott,
So-
if you use the ranges, say a cutoff raise, right? So a range, like a cutoff raising range, which is still probably even tighter than this guy is doing it.
Yeah.
But you'd be able to see a little bit closer. And if you make it 200 big blinds, like a cutoff raise and a button call, which would be much wider ranges than we're seeing from an under the gun versus low
Yeah.
jack call.
Yeah, let's do that.
Have we seen this guy open limp? He's limp behind. I don't
I've
know
never
if
seen,
we
I don't remember an open limp. I don't remember a
Maybe
single
he
open
opened
limp.
it also at first hand even. He limp jammed or something like that.
Yeah, he limped them. No, we don't know if he limped him or somehow, or whether he posted. We think he posted.
Okay.
I think we
that-
should move on because we answered kind of the question that was posed, which is what do we
Right.
do with eights and GTO?
Yeah, but here we're 400 big blinds deep versus 150 on the
And it's
GTO.
already
I could do 200 big blinds deep if you want. It's going to give you the same answer, if not a more conservative one, I think. I mean, if you want me to run that, I will.
Well,
we were gonna do 200 big blinds deep with the cutoff and
See you guys.
with the cutoff and the button.
That's what you're looking at right now.
Right.
Thanks, Yos.
All right.
thank you.
Okay,
Bye,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I don't know why I can't.
Oh,
get
this
to
is
it.
good. Look at this. Cutoff raise, button calls.
Oh, there you go.
Fabulous. We're both right. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. And we were discussing eights, nines, seven. Great. That is the closest thing. And here, and this is why and just so you know, to Derek, this is why I didn't want to 3-bet my eights, because I didn't want, and I'm not claiming this is what would have happened, but I didn't want to have my eights in this situation to an
Can you
open.
put the screen back up? Because we're.
Oh,
it's not-
sorry, you didn't see what happened. Yes, I'm sorry.
You mean like a 4-bet?
No, nobody raised. It was not near that standard. Let's do a
Five
quick.
comes 6 more.
No. Hey, King, good to see you. Villain, all you need to know is, villain 10, villain 1 is calling way too much. And villain 7 has been willing to open jam and bets and do some very aggressive stuff when he goes on tilt. So Jack 8 calls. So here we are, out of position, multi-way, check. How about an overbet of the pot with the 4 that my 8s would have struggled against? Now, I don't claim that he would have done it had I 3-bet, but this is the situation I didn't want to be in for 50 big blinds.
I call there though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's, you may have to call 3 streets, or you may have to call a jam, and I didn't want to. And that was the thing that I wasn't disagreeing that you were playing badly. You were saying with my edge, I can do it. And I'm saying that I think you overestimate how I view my edge. Or you overestimate my actual edge. Either way.
Well,
Well, that wasn't you, luckily.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
It was the knit, so.
All right. Queens against Ace Jack from villain 7. This could be fireworks.
yep.
Standard raise. Villain 5 can absolutely call this or 3-bet it from the button. He goes for the call, not a surprise. And now with that juicy stuff in, 8-10. Reasonable. What does ace jack do?
466. No. Oh,
436.
He is calm.
He,
He is calmed
I
down.
think he should have 3-bet there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
3-bet.
yeah. I'm 3-betting ace 4 on my tables for sure.
No, it's interesting. I
No,
actually.
the ace jack.
Ace
Yeah,
jack.
I know.
Ace jack is a good,
Oh,
that's a
wait.
good,
I'm a little shy of that
No, ace jack shouldn't.
position raises. I think I would 3-bet the button cutoff, maybe the hijack, but this guy's pretty early. And if you give him any credit for being positionally aware, your ace jack it's a little hard.
Yeah, I agree.
but the ace 4 is such dead
Ace
money.
jack might even be some folding.
Oh, you're going to see folds. If you run this like UTG or UTG1 against big blind, I bet you'll see folds.
Mhm.
It's
This
the
is a
pre.
bluff.
So here's what it looks
It's a
like.
bluff.
We're in poker. Here we go. It is. We're in the 100 big blind land now.
Ooh,
Ace
ace jack is a fold in the big blind.
Yeah, button calls. Ace jack.
Yeah.
Look at it. Look at it folding.
Wow.
All right.
I mean,
Good.
you just got to remember that these GTO ranges are so tight up front that it completely changes your response.
Check. He bets big at a board that, no, he bets half pot. So not too big, but bigger
Yeah, I'm
probably.
okay with that bet.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, he sees it coming. Not gonna fold yet. Hmm,
That's a nice
I
size
think
bet too.
That's a
This is
nice,
rough.
I like it.
not
This is
easy.
rough.
Yeah, so I'd like to talk about villain 5 sizing on the turn in the river because I think he had an opportunity to get more money.
He's 70, he's going 75, 75 here.
I mean, so if you start with 18 blinds and you're trying to get 90, can you structure it? I think that you're a GTO, if you look at the sim, you're going to see over bets to try to get this all in.
Yeah,
Oh, on a board with it. I think I disagree. Because the flush and the straight hit. Usually when a draw hits and you're in position after there was betting on the flop, you go smaller.
The flush and the straight. So look, if you have the nuts, you're going to have split. You're right. There's going to be a smaller betting range, but I think there's also going to be an over bet range with some bluffs and with the nut flush buff and the nut flush. By the way, I haven't run this. I don't know it, but I mean, you have the nuts, and this guy's got a ton of value opportunity for the reason you just stated, which is he's got weaker flushes, a straight, and it turns out he also has. I don't know if he has. I can't remember pre-flop action. He probably has sets in high pairs. So you have a lot of opportunity to leverage your nut hand here.
Yeah,
I
but
think you're gonna see overbet.
the other factor that gets very large betting is not present. There are 3 factors: a range advantage, nut advantage, and opponent connectivity. When villain 2 was the pre-flop raiser and then flop aggressor, the draws hitting hurts his range connectivity. So now the idea now is you're betting into an opponent that does not have a strong range. Therefore, his range cannot
support.
Yeah, no, Joey, that makes a lot of sense. My question: what was
call often enough for your value bets to be more profitable if they're large.
So that's a really good point. My question is, can someone remind me what the flop action was? Was there a bet? And a
Oh,
call?
raise. Queen's raise,
was a
ace 4 called,
C-
villain 7 called.
And then C bet and call.
See bet call
on
fold.
the flop.
So we're gonna do something on this hand that we have not done all session. We're gonna run this in a solver post flop, even though that was 3-bet, even though it was 3-handed, and we're gonna just disregard the 3rd hand here. Because it still gives us information. The SPR will be different. but we will still get valuable information from this. Viewing it heads up, because the ace four can call here. So Larry, since you're the one who brought it up, why don't you set that up and we'll go on.
Well, can we
All right.
set the pre-flop effective stacks to get like a 5 SPR on the, because I think that
If your solver will let you run at 70, you know, at
No,
70.
no, because you can adjust the stacks for 6 max, but you have to run this for 9 max, and for 9
Okay.
max to run post flop, it
okay.
has to be 100.
Yeah. So there'll be some distortions because of that, but it'd be worth it. It'd be interesting. So
Let's do it. I just, I mean, I don't know if when you're massively deep, if you can try to get it all in.
Oh no, he's not going to be massively deep. He's going to be 100. Villain 2 is
Well,
only
the SPR is 10 instead of 5. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's what it still applies. Because Joey, your point's well taken. You're right. But he did see bet. So he did. I mean, that could have been a bluff, but I mean, he chose to bet that middling board.
Yep.
So he does have. He's demonstrated. He bet flop and turn, right?
He bet floppy check called turn.
He checked the turn, which makes his range weaker.
I mean, so you could be right, Joey. That's a good point.
Yeah. So that's why we're running it specifically for that. And he picks up a 45 big blind pot. So villain 45 is still, villain 5 is still all over the place. He's got a lot of money there.
Yeah, and I
So
think with-
once he calls the turn, what was the river bet?
The river was, he did 75% again.
again.
Do you want to take a look?
I mean, that's where I might
I
get
should take a look.
polarized, because if he has the flush, he's going to pay you. I mean, to me, it's like, what if you can't target something to put a bigger raise in, a bigger bet in on the river?
That's what we're going to see.
I think he didn't get full value. That's my comment.
Looking
Give
at
me a
his
king,
range,
queen.
looking at his range though, if he hit the flush, wouldn't he have continued betting the turn?
Very often. Or he
Well,
would
guys,
check
this is
raise.
going to be a bit of a non-starter because it's a check range in UTG.
Oh, well.
Well,
All
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And we're moving
Yeah.
on.
Well,
Well, so do it as a check range, and we'll get the SPR down.
No, because then once
It's still a bluff, but you're right. You're right.
Yep. If he checked
Yeah.
range, we're done. Okay.
is it 100%, or does he have any bets at all with queens?
100%.
Oh, okay.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
the solver's not gonna do anything for us.
Yep. All right.
I knew it was a check. I knew it was a check in theory, but I thought as an exploit it would probably be good.
So my basic comment is, Joey, you make a huge point that you got to be really thinking about what the range connectivity is against your villain. But I do think, at least on the river, once he calls once,
Then he has range.
because now I can target a flush or a straight.
Yeah.
And if I can find a flush or a straight in his range, I'll target it and bet big and try to get paid. And I'm willing to give up the calls on weaker hands to do it. And that's been something that I have been working on, which is to target the next best value hand, not you target the next best value hand to call you. And if it's reasonable, then go for it.
And with that in mind,
That is what Andrew Brokos taught
And that's where I learned it.
prior to his solver study.
I've talked to him recently. He stands by it mostly.
Oh, he still does that?
Well, again, I mean, I think that, again, you're talking about exploitive play to some extent, and he's, I mean, I haven't asked him. I mean, I've actually, I spent a lot of time with his stuff, and some of it's old, and you're right, but I do think he's never come off his targeting ideas, and that's where I got it. So you picked it up.
I used to be a member of Tournament Poker Edge.
Yeah, I use it. I'm a subscriber to his Patreon and all that shit.
So, if when doing that, what size do you want to go with that in mind?
Well, noting Joey's good correction, I would probably change my proportions and do bigger on the river.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember the numbers exactly, but I would make a pretty big bet. I would probably do, so
Here it
what was the turn bet that he did?
He goes 75% on the turn, and is
So
75%.
once the guy calls 75%, he's telling me he
Right.
has a hand he wants to play. So
Exactly.
on the river, what do we get to? 42? I go all in. No, for 78, I just jam and hope.
Just jam.
I, I think I'm getting called by all of his flushes and some of his straights, and that's enough for me.
Right. And you get stacked by his full house, and that's just fine.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. You're not trying not to get stacked by a full house.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I have to confess, I didn't notice that it paired on the river when I was talking about stuff. So, but I don't think it changes my mind very much.
Right. So here is an argument. Let me take his stack from 78. Let me put villain 2 and give him 60 right now. Just want to
Yeah. So Scotty, can I make one more observation here? The issue is what's calling, there's 42 blinds in the pot. What's calling 35 or 40 blinds that's not calling 78 blinds? I mean, once you double barrel after the flush comes in over 75%, you're making the same statement you're making with the jam.
I would think an overpair with a heart blocker.
an overpair
Yeah,
with heart blocker.
this is where I go back to the Brokos targeting thing. I'm jamming.
Okay.
Even at 78, and I'm definitely jamming it.
There is something you have to, there is math to, I'd say, let's say your choices are betting $100 or betting $50.
Mm-hmm.
There are math equations to figure out when one is better than the other. Basically, you need to have the $100, half of his range that calls the $50 bet has to still call the $100 bet for them to break even. So if he folds 60% of the range, then you're better going with the smaller bet. If he's going to call with 55%, you're definitely better going with the larger bet.
Right.
I mean, that is all in all, that is the final real analysis on whether to go small or large.
Sure.
But here's one other thing on that. Oh, sorry. Go.
No, I'm done.
Okay. This is another argument for going large, which is, and I'm trying to remember the term for it, and I don't remember it. And it's this. So this ace 4, if we bet 30 and he is going to raise his full houses and call less than that, but he was going to call some of his queens, but he's never raising us, and we are never folding our nut flush to his jam. What we've just said is when we win, we'd like to win 30 big blinds, but when we lose, we'd like to lose 60. You see what I mean? By betting only 30, we've guaranteed that we only win 30 from, all of his bluff catchers, whatever they are. But if he only jams the hands that are better, if he only jams his full houses, and we can't fold to the jam, we've made a huge error here.
Right. And so I agree with that. And I hate this phrase, to be honest, if this were a queen high flush or a king high flush for me, I might do a bet fold here.
Yeah.
But because it's the ace high, I'm never folding. And so I agree. I'm committed to 78.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
I think, Scotty, that's really a really good analysis.
Yeah. And that was something from Brad Owen's session with one of his guys, was this idea that and I don't remember the term, it wasn't value own. I don't remember what the term they used for it, but it was exactly that idea of you allow him to play perfectly against you.
That's exactly the way to put it. I
Right. So that hand went. And now, look, I have a hand I'm going to play for a raise. And I'm going to raise this to 4.5 because I know me.
Yeah, I think Andrew Brokos' thing is still good.
Mhm.
But I think you have to take into consideration what is the likelihood he has that target hand.
Oh yeah, if you can't target a hand he doesn't have, that's exactly right. And there's a likelihood factor in there, but a lot of
Our
times
hero is going to
we
experience
use the
pain.
likelihood factor to shy
wait.
away from big bets.
Yeah, wait, we have to stop and watch Scotty's pain here.
Oh
Yeah.
no, we're just gonna move on to the next hand. I think it's obvious what
Let's
happened.
see it.
You want to watch the
No,
order.
let's see-
You want to watch the
let's
order in
see
which
how-
I lose 41 big blinds. Okay, let's see what I lose. Oh, he's gonna make it easy for me.
This is an interesting spot.
This is easy. I'm just gonna lose it into, that's what's gonna happen. I'm not folding to him. There we go. That's what I lose. All right. That's the order in which I lose it. Now, on this river, are we
You
ever,
call this.
oh no, oh, we're all in on the turn.
Oh,
I'm never folding
I
this
think
to this guy.
Put on his HUD.
Yeah, he has not been very aggressive. That's true. But
That
I-
I think is my point.
yeah,
was this a bet better? Did he check raise the flop?
I mean, obviously, in theory, this is an easy call, but
Yep. He's super passive pre-flop.
what's his aggression? What's his aggression percentage?
Let's see. Does that show here?
No, that should be a flop.
Okay, let me
That's a post flop.
I know, yeah, I have to unlock the layout so we can get it on screen. There we go. Now let's move this over. Come on, baby. Oh, you're gonna move the whole thing. There, we'll just move the whole thing for now. Okay. Flop.
His aggression factor is 0.36. Oh man, that is super low.
Did he bet flop, bet turn, or did he check raise flop?
No, he
bet
just
flop,
dropped
bet
out.
turn. He just bet.
Average is 2, so he's about 1/7 of the average.
Yeah, he's really passive.
Yeah, so he limp called pre-flop.
Yep, limp called pre-flop.
So that discounts ace queen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because he's gonna open even a PFR of 2 might open ace queen.
Yeah.
I don't know if the math proves that out, but you know what I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
You're just this is kind of a cooler.
I'm just happy he has 48 big blinds. And with that in mind,
I mean, the question is, with somebody this passive,
yeah,
can we fold to that turn bet? How passive do they have to be?
yeah. All right.
Like a 0.36 is about the lowest I've ever seen for an aggression factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I asked myself, would he ever do this with ace 10? That's really the question, right?
And ace 5. Yeah.
Because you've ruled out that he's a bluffer. He's not going to do this with a bluff, even a semi bluff.
Yeah.
You know, even
Yeah, but I think I think even against him, I think given the stack size,
oh yeah, I'm losing my money too.
yeah, I just
think, but to me, the question is, can I rule out bluffs because of who he is? Yes. What's his value range that does this? Can I beat his value range?
I thought any ace. But 0.36 does not look like any ace.
Well, I don't think it's any ace.
Yeah,
That's
the thing. I thought it was any ace. When in the hand,
okay.
I thought it was any ace. But now,
Well, Monday morning is a great day to play a football game, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now this is just, it's an accurate question. How passive do they have to be before we give up on the turn?
Yeah,
I really don't know. I'm not criticizing Scotty here at all.
Yeah,
In game, I probably would have call. It looks easy.
yeah,
So Scott, the question really is how many big, so he started with 50?
yeah. 40.
So
Yeah.
would you lose 100?
No,
Okay, well then you're fine. This is just a cooler.
right. I mean, it has to do with this thing of going SPR of
I
one.
mean, this is where like I think the flush draw is, well, you block it a little bit, but you know, and actually you block it more
Yeah.
than, but I think the flush draw trips me up. I do think that maybe, I mean, if you're trying to think the places where you'd find that, maybe if the queen and the two were switched, so the queen, it was the two of spades, you might be more justified in stacking off here. Then you could come up with an argument that says, I've accounted for the ace, queen, and jack of spades,
Yeah,
which are all flushy hands, if you will, and therefore this skews way towards the value. And so what's the value? And he's not overplaying bad kickers. And so maybe if you were to try to describe a thought process that makes you fold,
Yeah.
but I'm still using 50 big blinds here.
yeah. And I don't know that in game I did this following thing that I needed to do was what kind of bad player is he? I have this, I know that in this game, I am staring intently at villain 7, villain 1, and villain 5. Those are the people I'm playing against. Those are the only people I'm paying attention to. I want to know how tight villain 5 is because he's got position on me and all the chips. I'm trying to play hands against, I want to play a hand against villain 7 where he goes crazy, which I didn't allow him to do with my kings, and I should have. And I know that villain 1 is in way, way too many hands and plays them. And all I'm thinking of, and it's not right, is badly. And I needed to be more precise about how. I needed to say, this guy is holding all the time. He's never raising. And now all of a sudden he's gone and committed all his chips. And that's not ace jack.
I don't know. Like, you have top pair with second best kicker.
I know. I know.
I
I
mean,
thought-
how?
I thought he's stacking. I thought that he's doing this with any ace. That was what I thought at the time. And I still don't know that he isn't doing it with any ace. But I didn't think in the way that you were talking, Joey, of how passive has he been. I didn't consider that.
Yeah, I mean, you'll never know, but I think that those are good things to think about.
'Cause this-
Can I ask
Like,
you a question?
Does he go into check call mode with ace 8?
Say what?
Does he go into check call mode with ace 8?
We haven't seen him have a hand yet. We've seen how passive he is, but he's been passive because he's had nothing. Because he's in so many hands with garbage. We haven't seen how he plays,
Well, no.
particularly hits.
The aggression factor also doesn't take into any account where there's a bet and he folds.
Right.
Aggression factor just takes in how often does he call post flop versus taking
Raise or bet.
an aggressive action.
Right. And it's so low that that if I had been more aware, because this table is not old. This is a week old or something. I've just had this. So I remember some of the hands and I didn't think enough about it. I only thought this far. When he bet pot, I did not on flop. When he did this, I did not go, yeah, I'm going to stack this guy. I looked at it. And, all right, how many big blinds am I going to lose when I'm wrong?
I mean, here this is a no-brainer call because you still even if you knew he wasn't betting anything worse than your hand,
Mhm.
you still have the spades as a backup.
Yeah, and I have the jack as a backup.
Yeah, I mean, so I think you gotta call it flop once you get past the flop. It goes, look, if you thought he was doing this in the ace, then you did it right. It's hard to know.
But here's, I'm telling you, this is my actual, I remember the hand. This is my thought process. I raised him because I'm gonna, that was trivial. And he called me. Okay, fine. And I flopped my ace. Great. Let's see, I'm gonna be betting. How big am I gonna bet on the flop? What? So that's what I was thinking. The second it came out, I was deciding what is my bet size here, and I looked at the ace queen, and I thought, I think I'll bet large. I think I'll bet 7 big blinds. And then he did this, and my thought was this. I looked at it and I went, okay, how many big blinds am I going to lose when I'm beat? And I looked at his stack and I went, 28 more after this. Call, bet, call. And
So I actually think that if that's what your thinking was, you should have folded turn.
Yeah, I didn't think deep enough.
I mean, you just have to say, and you're just exploiting a net. I mean, you're exploiting a passive player, not a net.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, can I ask one quick question? I'm going to check out.
Yeah.
Do 50 NL ignition games get this deep very often? This is crazy. 500, 300.
No, this is crazy. Most of these guys, rat hole. They want to pocket their winnings. And I believe the reason that I'm not and villain 5 is not is because of villain 7.
Okay, that's helpful. All right. Hey, so Scotty, this is awesome. And Larry and Joe and everyone else. I mean, I've learned a ton from you guys. I really appreciate it.
No worries, man. Come tomorrow.
I will try.
Oh, did Josh get in? Josh, you got, whoops. I just saw Josh's, well, I reposted it. Hold on, I have to do this for a second. There. Okay, now. Yeah, we'll go like to one more hand of mine before we go, because we've done 3 hours in Barcelona. But I don't want to end on that hand. Here we go. Folding, and here we go. Normal size raises now from villain 7. Of course, villain 1 calls. Medium aggressive actions. He just doesn't want to fold to him.
So I think what he's noticed, he was in the hand previously where villain 7 bet big on flop and then gave up.
Yeah.
So he thinks that if he calls here,
He might, yeah.
he gives up, he can steal it.
Right.
Nope.
And this is indicative a little bit of what was going to happen with our 8s. Is it's very possible we were going to be facing 2 or 3 streets. We don't know. Okay. Queen 9, extra big raise. We got a new friend in the pot. One of the first hands like this that villain 7 has gotten. Still playing this loose. And now, villain 1's aggression factor with ace queen off the charts.
Whoa. That's insane. Against this early position.
Yeah. And with all this, does it end well for our hero? No. Another 5. So 5 seems to be his size. He's a new guy, right? He just came into the game?
He's new.
Yeah. Yeah, he just came into the game. Okay. Here we go. So that appears to be his size, we're guessing, because we are discounting Bayes' theorem that we've only seen 3 examples of it. And now we think it's a size. Villain 1 is playing like villain 1. But against me, he flops 2 pair. Fine, be that way. Okay, middle pair. Yep, just calling with it. And the reason that we haven't been doing our usual exercise of what should happen is that all the things that should happen are not happening on this table.
Yeah, we're in Bizarro world.
Yeah, we're in Bizarro world. And villain 7 has decided to start playing again. No doubt villain 1 will be in the hand. And our friend who raised 5 big blinds both times, will he squeeze with this? Hope so. Yep. And there's a fold from villain 7, unlike his previous play. No way villain 8 is folding. And not a bad float for that size. Yeah, I like it.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, that's small. Yep, it worked. He was there to pick up some equity. King 8. This should, going back to our thing, this should fold around to ace 5 suited, who should just fold against this early position raise. I'm sure that there's some solver special raising. But I wouldn't do it against this guy. He's been super tight. Is this a conversation we need to have?
Why?
Oh my, that it went, that he's this much on form. Jeez. And I'm the one who doubled him up. Great. King, queen squeezing here against the early position? He can.
Just
Yeah,
flat it.
king
Yeah.
queen's tough here.
But isn't that early position raiser one of the nits?
He's super nitty.
Mhm.
He's been super nitty.
Yeah,
Just call.
that, I 3-bet a lot. That's not, they're the persons that make me back off of my 3-betting range.
Yeah,
I just play straightforward 3-bets against those players.
yep. King, queen is pretty straightforward, but in a multi-way pot like this, but it can't be wrong to call it. I mean, as it turns out, it's a nightmare that the ace five is there, but. And once
And
again,
you know what's funny here is that you are deep enough where you could 3-bet and call a 4-bet
with the, with a king, queen or with the ace five?
with the king queen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
even with ace five.
Three betting
You're
against-
not deep enough though with ace five.
Right. And here's an example that even though you only have to put in 2 to win a pot of 15, you should fold. Oh, joy. Absolutely bet.
For
Larger than is needed. Seems to me larger than is needed. Oh my. Amazingly, villain 5 has the pot odds to call. Larry would love. Is Larry still here? No,
Larry's here.
Larry, good. He has the
You have
pot.
the Larry?
Anyway, he's not going. He shouldn't have. Called in 2 places. Can he bet again? I think he can.
I would check a lot here after 2 calls
Yeah.
multi-way.
On the multi-way thing, 1 pair is not often best.
And it's a tough one though, because you also are allowing any draws to get there, although this is a pretty dry board on flop.
Pretty dry
Got
board.
More weight
But-
on turn.
I don't know how these players would think about it, but in general, you shouldn't be playing backdoor stuff in multi-way pots.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in real life, I don't think I'd be phased about the backdoor draw.
Yep.
I just
Are
check
you-
on it.
Are you,
He
what
checks
are you guys
behind-
doing on turn here? Are you betting again after 2 callers? Or are you gonna check?
I'm checking.
There he goes.
Yeah, I
And
think
you're gonna,
checking is the right.
and
bet.
I'm gonna
now,
keep the pot smaller and
and now call 1 river bet. If it goes bet fold, you call it. If it goes bet call, you think about it. If it goes bet raise, you fold. And if it goes check, check, you bet. Except
Well,
maybe
not
now you
now.
don't. Check, check. Now,
check.
just check. Yep. And just check and win. When you're happy 31 big blinds.
And you probably fold if it goes check, bet say 50-60%. Then you probably got to fold, right?
Oh, on the river
I
when it
don't
comes
know.
in?
On the river.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't, yeah.
Yeah,
Against
we've
other cards.
learned when villain 1 bets, 1 pair doesn't win.
Oh, yeah, particularly against that villain. I was thinking maybe, against like a normal population range of
No,
players.
I don't know. When you're in the sandwich on the river and you have top pair, a pretty decent top pair too. I may call that.
So on this hand, 6-5 suited can raise, but should mostly fold. Ace-10 suited should raise his normal size. I mean, a normal size, we'll see. Queen-10 should obviously fold, he won't. And then it should be a raise, fold, 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 fold around to the ace-6 suited, who should not fold. That's what should happen. Let's see what does happen. We expect, this is not a surprise from the 6-5 suited. He's been playing tight. Ace-10 does an oversized raise. Queen-10 calls the oversized raise, which he should not. And with this action, I need to fold. Ace-6 suited, he should call. He's got, yeah, he should totally
Absolutely
call.
against these
He
guys.
should totally call because if he gets the nuts, he's stacking 400 big blinds.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's based on the implied odds of the.
But he's got to
times
be
the 3%
really
you get your
careful
blush.
when he hits an ace. Yeah, good call. Great. And the person wins who shouldn't be here. Check. The 10 bet. Oh, no, he's gonna
This
lose.
might be some, fireworks between.
Yeah, let's see. He just calls a single pair. Ace-6 has got to get out of there. There we go. Yep, there's your fireworks.
Wow.
And it's not a 452 bet. He's only betting 46 into 30.
Yeah, 1.5x.
Yeah.
1.5x. It's a bad play, but it's not what it looks like.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, and there we go.
And you're sitting here going, where are my cards?
How am I? Yeah. How am I losing? Notice I'm down from the time that this guy came to the table.
Yeah, you got stuck that on.
I was
Let's
at,
see if villain 7's on tilt now.
yeah, didn't I start at 350 big blinds? Or maybe I got that after.
70.
Maybe I
Yeah,
started.
you got sucked out on doubled up, doing one.
Yep, he's tilting. Yep, there it is. We knew it, right?
I've never seen anything like this before.
He wants it back.
So we learned that ace-9 could be a call. No, not ace-9. It didn't go that low, did it?
It went ace-9 suited.
Well, you know what? I think I'd like to see Jake run that through. It wasn't finished yet. And what happens as that runs down? It was a very complex sim because
Yeah.
that first range was any two.
Right.
So it was far from finished.
Right.
I think we have
Yeah.
to take that with a grain of salt.
Right. However, I think having seen all his hands, that we can say that any two was not incorrect
While
this
he's
is-
on tilt.
when he's on
Um,
tilt.
So what would you call that? Like 95%?
Of range?
Yeah, 5-2.
I think that's 97, isn't it? Like 7-2 is your last hand. So that 5-2's got to be like,
Yeah, it's not even. I don't know that he's making any distinction here. If you're playing 5-2, I don't think he's thinking of anything else. But
insane.
let's see how long he stays there. He may only stay there for one hand.
All right, now this is going to be interesting. Let's see if he tilts here.
All right. Not after this action. But just as that. And the queen deuce is not folding, we think. Oh, he does. He folds one. And there is no justice. All right. How many big blinds is 10's going to lose to this guy?
And let's go on 7 donks.
100? Check.
No.
Bet. Call. Oh, look at him. Look at him. Check calling. Oh, now he gets a little scared with it. And I think he's gonna lose his stack. Yep. And now he's got 500 big blinds.
So I have seen Fish make that donk play.
Yeah.
When they call, it's incredibly stupid because they're calling flop, right? They're slow playing, but then they change their mind on turn and say, well, forget that. I'm not going to slow play.
Yeah.
And I'm going to.
Maybe what he
lead
saw
turn.
was, oh, there's now a straight draw and a flush draw.
Maybe that's what it is. But I do see this play on occasion.
Yeah.
On turn, and it's like, what are you doing? You just called.
Yeah.
And now you're dunking, and this is a non-equity shifting card.
Right. So ace-4 should open. And it should fold to the ace-10, who should fold to this early position, but isn't going to. And ace-4 isn't gonna open, and with ace-4 not opening, jack-9 should raise. And ace-10 should at least call and doesn't need to 3-bet this against a raise. Matter of fact, I think ace-10 mostly calls against a raise. There. Is it 100%? No, it's about 50% ace-10 should call and 50% ace-10 should raise against jack-9's raise. He's gonna just call though. Oh, but jack-8 comes in. That is much looser than I expected from the way this guy's played.
Yeah, he wants a piece of these fish.
Yep.
I don't know. It's not gonna work out for him this time, though.
No, it's not. Because this guy is back to this. And let's see, what does he do with ace-10?
Wow.
Oh, how do I lose? Here we go. Jack 10 should raise. It should fold around to the king 7, who should defend by calling. Let me see. Is there ever any raising here against the hijack? King 7 suited against the hijack. Yes. King 7 suited should be raising here about 25% of the time against the hijack. Let's see if I'm right about that.
What's the bottom of the small blind 3-bet range? Ace 10?
Oh, the offsuit,
Yeah,
the offsuit bottom?
Yeah.
He's got king 10 here a lot and almost no queen 10. So here we go.
No. Like, is ace 9 a 3-bet?
Hold on. You're asking which person? Ace 9
From
from
the
here.
small blind. From the small blind.
Oh, the small blind. Oh, no. It's not a
I
three
was
bet.
asking,
It's
is
a
his
fold.
bottom ace 10?
Against the hijack? No, I think
Yeah.
it's like ace jack, ace queen. I think it's ace 10 against the button. Let's see. Let's find out. So first questions, fold. Hijack does a raise here. And we want to see the small blind. The small blind should be ace jack. Yeah, ace jack and ace queen. Okay. And the big blind, I claim that king 7 suited is about 25%. Pretty close. Strategy. Let's see the number. The exact number is big blind, king 7 suited, 28.4. I was so far off. And no folding. So there's the raise, an extra small raise. There's no doubt this ace 9 is calling. No doubt. And a bit of crazy. The this raise does nothing raise. I think
Yeah,
Seven-
this is, how old is this, hand history?
about 10 days, a week, something like that.
So I've been seeing a lot more of this one big blind in position 3-bets,
Mhm.
and I just don't know what to make of them quite yet.
They're bad.
Yes, I'm just curious what the range would be. What is we have a heuristic on the range? I don't think there is
No,
yet.
and this shouldn't tell you anything because the way this guy plays is not normal. So he's
Yeah.
that's no information.
Agreed.
Now the king 7 should fold. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's not closing the action anymore.
he's not closing the action.
No, it's
Multi-way,
a fold.
but it is a king high flush he's drawing towards.
I'd just fold it.
Yeah.
You're not closing
Oh.
the action.
You're
Oh,
not
yeah,
closing.
yeah, it's a fold for sure.
Yeah. Okay, for sure fold. All right. I wasn't sure.
Sorry, Scotty.
I mean,
That's not what I meant.
the best way to check is would you play it now in the small blind?
No. Fold.
Yeah, that's good perspective.
That's a really good way to think about it. Yeah, I like that. All right. Jack 10. Hey, hey, hey.
This feels like a really good check raise.
Yeah, and there's a good chance, and against this guy, there's a good chance he bets it. He has not been, I mean, it's multi-way, but he hasn't been afraid to. Good job. Didn't work.
Oh, no, didn't bite.
Nope. All right. Now he's gonna
Now
make,
let's see, do we get the donk? We don't get the donk.
no, we get this donk. We get the flush draw with, 2 straight draws, one to the good end and one to the bad end. An 8 gives us a straight, a queen gives us a straight. This is great. Jack 10. Ugh,
Just call.
just call. Yeah.
Hmm.
I doubled this
Yeah,
guy up.
Jesus.
I doubled this guy up.
So,
And now he bets. And does he get called by the ace 9? Probably not. Not at that size.
So Scotty, before we go on to the next hand, I'd like to look at the ranges that we were looking at earlier. You made such a good call on that King 7 3-bet, and I wanted to ask a question to you guys.
Yeah.
When you show those ranges, okay. So when I study these, right, I remember this range. This is one of those ranges where, because it's hijack big blind, it happens a lot. And I look at this and I try to implement something. And what I do in my big blind versus hijack is I'll 3-bet ace 4 and ace 5 100%. And then I go king 5 and king 6 100%. And I ignore king 3, king 4. You know what I mean? Like I kind of take all those.
That's fine.
And I put them all into those grouping of hands. My question is, should I, because ace 5 and king 5 are kind of doubled up in my raising range there, should I make it king 6 and king 7 so that, do you see what I'm saying? It
I'm
kind
saying
of,
exactly what you're saying. First of all, if you're only doing ace 4, ace 5, and king 5, what did you, ace 4, king 5, king 5, and king 6, was that it? Was those
yes.
4? You're not taking and you're not taking enough from this range. You're doing 4 hands, and this can support 5.
Right.
And
You're right. It
if
doesn't.
if you're going to take 2 of them out, I think I'd rather call the 7 and 6 and raise the lower kings.
Yeah, I would do, but I do like your idea of making them asymmetric. I think the fact that, I mean, king 4 is the one you want to be in on the most. And so if you did ace 3, ace 5, king 4, king 6, because I think you can get, for those 4, I think that would be a way to solve your problem. And
if you want 6s and 7s, hit the queens.
I do queen 8 and queen 9.
Yeah. Queen 8, queen 9. You don't need to fold any of the 7s unless you want to. But in this whole region here, you've got a total of, it looks like 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21, 22. So that means out of this whole region, you can get 5 hands to raise and be pretty good. I was just doing that just offhand. So yeah, it's I guess 6 was too much. Yeah, queen 9.
So the doubling up of that, that kicker, so to speak,
Yeah,
is a thing, right? We kind of want to avoid that, right? Is that true, and why?
so it's not that you want to avoid it. It's that I think you have a better choice. It doesn't hurt you. What it does is it makes it that you're not as protected on all boards, which no one would know that.
Yeah, it's not that you're doubling up. The reason the solver does this is to have board coverage across all boards.
Right.
So if you're going to implement a range like that, you just have to make sure that there's something from somewhere covering something.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And you don't have any other 4 rays
Like,
that you're going to do.
You can have ace 5 and king 5, but you got to make sure the 2, 3, 4, 6s, and 7s are represented somewhere in your range.
So
Yeah,
I certainly would prefer this. And by the way, this is not how poker coaching did it when they made their implementable version. They did ace 5, ace 4, king 4, something like that. They did a little triangle here. But I prefer here ace 3, king 4, ace 5, queen 8, queen 9, if that's how you're going to compress them. And then if you're going to do one more, king 6 maybe.
I think what I'm going to do is ace 4, ace 5, king 6, king 7, queen 8, queen 9.
That's super easy to remember.
That gives me that. Yeah, and exactly, kind of a heuristic of that's something easy to know, right?
Yeah, that's super easy.
But then I'm still shy. Like I'm not 3-betting enough yet.
The 2s and 3s you got to hit.
Yeah.
Do all the will aces at some point.
Okay.
I think if you
Then
figure out
maybe-
a way to do 50-50, all the will aces, you'll be okay. Like, I would do it the first card. If the first card is red, raise. If the first card is black,
Oh yeah,
or since it's
I have an
suited.
RNG. I use an RNG and
Yeah.
I'll like flip that way, 15 under or whatever.
Yeah, I usually use suits as my RNG when I'm
Yeah.
doing it.
When you have to randomize. This is what I'm actually doing. I'm doing something messy. Pink is 50% and gray is 25%. And that's how I was able to know the king seven was around 25%.
Okay.
I've chosen to actually memorize this nonsense here. Because
All
I'm a
right,
crazy
I
person.
do have to go. It's after 5:30 now.
Yeah, this is unnecessary, but that's what I do.
All right,
All right,
bye.
cool. Thanks for indulging me.
Okay. Yeah, and I do think it. I don't think you're wrong to double up on him, but I think it's better to. I think the other one is a better choice. And boy, I think just for remembering it, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is so easy to remember. And the fact that the king four is more than the king set, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think ace three, king four, ace five, king six is also super easy to remember. And it's a little closer
Yep.
to the, and you see how see how ace three is actually more than ace four?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like it. I like ace three, ace four. I like ace three, king four, ace five, king six. But it's a little messier to remember. All right. We're going to end as soon as I hit a hand or that it's midnight in Barcelona. Yeah, okay. Oh, we went through this one. He bet big. He got it. Ace 10 raises too big. And now, so this guy has decided to up
Well,
his size. This
there's
was
a
our
poster,
good
so
player.
that's not necessarily too big.
Oh, because he's thinking that he's super deep against.
No, there's a poster. I'm assuming Jack
there's
hates
a
a
poster.
post, right?
I missed the poster. Yeah. Oh no, this is perfect. Okay. And our poster is our new friend. And queen eight's gonna queen eight. And he's not gonna make any money. Easy check.
I'll bet he doesn't continue to check, but he should.
I don't think so. He says maybe somebody's got something. Maybe I can get some value from a king. Yep, he's still raised. He's back to his normal sizing.
Nice. Oh
Whoa.
my gosh. Oh,
This is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't fold. The question is, do you shove?
500 big blinds deep.
What do you
Guys are
do?
500 big blinds deep. You do not
Out
shove.
of position.
Oh God, he folded.
Oh, he
Yeah.
folded. No.
He must be new to the table.
No, it's the same guy. He's got the 500 big blinds.
It's the guy. He folded to villain 7.
That's insane.
He just knows that it's going to go 500 big blind. He feels that it's going to get all in. That's
I mean, so I think, well, his range is so wide.
I think that if I'm in his
What is-
position, I think I'm jamming this.
I think I am too. And
when this guy represents his 100, that he's not folding it. And that I'm using.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I feel like this is just, you're playing out of position. He could have any two. He can. You're
No.
going to be thrown off your equity if it's an ace or king. I almost feel like this is a shove.
Yeah. But this is just criminal.
yeah, that's that age-old question, right? What's optimal there? And it's probably to call, but man,
Yeah, that's a weird one. So you guys, so are we in agreement that against this maniac we shove, or do you think we call?
honestly, I think it's a call to is if you were really looking to, I was referring to that age-old question of winning more pots versus winning more money. I
Okay.
think you call is optimal.
I think against
I don't know if that's right or not, but
I disagree. Against this maniac, I think you raise and don't jam. And
oh, you know what? I never considered that. That's
against this
Yeah, I
guy,
never play this deep, so I don't know.
against this guy,
like click it back.
basically click it back. He's shown himself to call those things and then just hang on.
And then, and then the SPR is so small that
Right.
it's like,
And then do what I didn't do with the kings. Check.
yeah.
Represent ace king on a board that you missed.
So are you going to like 160, 200? What are you doing?
Yeah, right around 180. 180,
Okay.
100.
I mean, we all hope that we can get in this situation. I've never seen this in
Yeah.
my years of poker.
Yeah, I know. And it's Scotty, when an ace or a king flops, you don't care
Just cry.
and get it in, right?
I
Just
care.
try and get it in.
I care a lot. Just
Well,
cry.
that's what I mean. Do you care that enough that you fold, or
No.
like try not to get it in, or do you care enough that, or you
No.
care enough that
I-
you're just gonna get it in?
No, my exploit was if the flop is ace king X, both of them. I think I let him bluff me off it. But if it's one of them, no.
Yeah, I think that's a
Yeah,
good way to look at
okay.
it. Have any of you ever seen anything like this on the poker table before?
I told you it was gonna be fun.
No, not this deep, and no, I haven't.
I don't think I've ever, yeah, it is fun.
Yeah.
I think that villain 5 now has to come to the conclusion that, he's not willing to play the steep and he just needs to leave.
That's it. Yeah, that's interesting. If you're not
So
gonna
if I,
play against this guy, leave.
so if I had made that play, um, I would have just said, okay, I'm not ready to play the steep. I would have left.
So this may be the last hand we play because it's very likely that I'm in this hand. Yeah, I'm definitely in this hand. No, I'm gonna be in the sandwich. I mean, king 5, it was an easy call. I'm just gonna call. Yeah, I'm just gonna call him
Yeah,
and not care about the fact
I
that
would too.
okay.
I would too, because villain 1, we know what's happening over
Yep.
there. King 5, I think, is reasonable.
Yep, now I fold. All right, that's where we will
Uh,
end. We have not left this table. Next week we'll come back to villain 7,
The infamous villain 7.
the infamous villain 7. All right.
Well, also, thanks, Scotty, for choosing to go over poker hands as opposed to enjoying tapas in Barcelona. I do appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and then, yeah, tomorrow we've got the study session. And Larry's gonna run it. And I'll probably see you guys late, but I may miss the whole thing.
All right,
Okay,
and
cool.
All right.
thanks for opening it.
All
I'll
right.
get on early like we talked about.
Okay, there we go. Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Thanks
What
a
a
lot,
party.
Scotty.
Great session.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Great
See you guys.
session.
See you guys tomorrow. Thank you.
Hasta mañana.
It's fun and it's educational all at one.
Yeah, I wanted more of the chips. I mean, I'm even more depressed about it now because I've never reviewed these hands. I just played them live. Now that I see how villain 1 played, I'm even more upset. All right,
All right. Cheers.
talk it. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.